All right, and we are live once again. Romero, how's it going, man? Milos, how's it going? Okay. Oh, God. Nightwalker, how's it going? Oh, okay, good. Lyola, how's it going today? I was doing a deep dive into the lore of the Cookie. What the actual hell is the Cookie Run Kingdom? What is this? Oh, it's a game. Interesting. C. Okay. CLA. Oh, there we go. Nice. I'm really too far behind. I was watching our second last stream and you stream again. Well, hey, in fairness, Nightwalker, that's a good problem to have, all right? And I promise, you've got a week. There's a week of me streaming this regularly, and then I'm taking like a 2-week hiatus, so you'll have plenty of time to catch up. I promise. My last stream before I leave for to visit my granddad is gonna be like next Saturday morning. Not this early, but like our regular. Yeah, maybe like around our regular time, maybe a little bit sooner than that. And then that's it. And then I definitely won't stream for like 3 or 4 days until I get settled there. And then once I'm there, I'll be streaming a lot more intermittently. And then you can sleep. But doesn't oh my god, doesn't Easy stream at a messed up time for you, Romero? Because he streams like midday for us, which should be like late at night for you, like 2 or 3 or some shit. Glengarry. I sleep normally at 6 a.m. Jesus Christ. Hue, shade, color, tone. Nice. You stream at 8 a.m., so that changed my schedule. Oh shit. Oh, my morning. Oh, sorry. The night stream for me is probably at 8 a.m. for you, isn't it? Because you're 12 minus. You're like 10 hours ahead of me. Yeah, that would make sense. Jesus Christ. So wait, when do you even sleep? I'm so confused. I feel like your sleep schedule has just got to be a fucking nightmare fuel. Jesus Christ. Because I'm gonna stream normally for this upcoming week, and then I'm on a 2-week hiatus when I'll stream basically whenever I can. It'll be like 5 chapter streams. If I'm really lucky and I don't have much to do, then I'll like stream like late at night for them, or for my parent, for like my from their time, and then I can do like a 8 or 9 chapter stream, but that'll be rare. After your last stream, I slept for an hour and went to class and just got back an hour ago. Jesus fuck. So that's the reason you were like that? It seemed like good sleep routine is really important for mental health. Okay. Dell. The Lord is all I need. Fuck. Okay. Hope Hollow. Del Dole. Nice try, Milosh, but no. Okay. Bob Marley. Bob Ross. Fuck. Okay. Bob Ross, Bob Hope, Bob Marley, Bob. Is there another Bob in here? There's gotta be. I can't think of. I can't. Bob Hollow, Bob Glenn, Bob Dell, Bob Dole. Yes! Oh. Okay. I got two. At least. Okay. Dell Hollow. What would you expect from Secret Supplant? Okay. Dell Hollow Genre Gary Lou Dale Dre Glenn. What do these have to do with each other? What the fuck? Fuck. Valley. Dale, Del, Glen Hollow. Dale is a name for, and Del are names for valleys? Glen and Hollow, yes, those two make sense. Color anagrams. That is so... Oh my god, I hate this. Let's just do... Oh, good lord. Sorry, it's so... What the actual fuck is this country? Jesus Christ, Saudi Arabia? Oman. Qatar. 5,000 miles left of Qatar. So would this be an African country? Norway's gonna be way too north, but I'm curious. Basically down from Norway. So it's gotta be an African country. Okay. What's an African country that's rich in oil? African country rich in oil. African country rich in oil. I don't actually know. I'm not... Oh! Oh! Oh my god! Oh my god! Mom, get the camera! Holy shit, that was... Oh my god, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Right. at 3:56. Informant fee. We'll get started in about 2 minutes. I'm just going to get everything set up in the meantime. I have 1 more minute. I don't think I'll be able to get anything else done. Ward on connections. I'll try to rush through Waffle, but I doubt I can do it quickly enough. Jesus Christ. AVO. DER Derby. Shit, I don't think I have enough. Fuck. AVORD avoid. ED to avoid. Oh god, no. If green worked out to be red, then or sorry, if N worked out to be green, Jesus Christ, then I might have had a chance. One more swap and I would have got it. Fuck. Oh, that was so stupid. All right, whatever. All right, let's get started. I'm not stalling. I don't do that, okay? I was trying to rush through Waffle, and that caused me to get up with one move. One more move. That's all I needed. Fucking amateur hour over here. Jesus Christ. Dude, I really don't care what happens in the East Borough. Oh my god. I don't give a fuck what happens out here. Okay, 356. Informant fee. Mike Joseph took out his handkerchief, covered his mouth, and coughed several times. The smog in the factory district was thicker than anywhere else. The air was grey with a yellowish tint as though it was floating dust. Occasionally, a pungent, suffocating odour that even Mr. Reporter, who was long used to the backland air, could not bear. He turned to Klein, who was also coughing softly. I've always been a huge supporter of the government's establishment of the National Atmospheric Pollution Council and the Alkaline Industry Inspector. But only today did I realize that the problem has become so serious. If we don't take effective measures, it might become a tragedy in the future. Klein tried hard to clear his blocked nose. Perhaps the whole of Backland would be shrouded in smog that results in one's vision not exceeding 5 meters. But it's possible that an evil god would descend or be born in such a backdrop, he added silently. Old Kohler didn't quite understand the conversation. He cleared his throat that was filled with thick phlegm and led the reporter and the detective around the watchman and into a lead factory. Most of the workers were women. They were working busily without any protection, and the factory floor was filled with dust. Looking at the tiny particles floating in the air, Klein felt like he was looking at toxic gas. The young ladies without masks were lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Jesus Christ. For a moment, he felt as though he was back in Tingen, back to the time he had helped Sir Deweyville deal with the grievance haunting him. He seemed to have already witnessed the future of each and every female worker, some of them with throbbing heads, some with blurred vision, some turning hysterical, some with gums a little blue, and finally, they either went blind or fell dead. It's like a large-scale bloody sacrificial ritual. The only difference is that the target is flashing symbols of money. If the Aurora Order, Rose School of Thought, or other evil sects could make use of similar situations just like what Lanavis did, there would be a huge problem. Klein covered his mouth and nose as he watched quietly. Mike Joseph muttered in surprise and anger. How can this be? How can they be like this? A while ago, all sorts of newspapers and magazines were focused on the issue of lead poisoning. Why aren't they focusing on... why aren't they using any precautionary measures at all? These they can't even bear to use a mask. These factory owners are murderers. Good morning, Queen. How's it going? You're moving today, right? Good luck on the move. Is that today, or am I misremembering? Don't stop at 362. Read 363 as well. Yeah, no worries. I got no issues. I just picked a random number, Milos. I got no issues. He truly is a reporter with a sense of righteousness. Even though he isn't young, he's rather stingy, and his acting is pretty outstanding. He still retains his pure original motives. My moves today. Okay. Good luck. I'm sure it'll go smoothly, but yeah. But how is he so aware of lead poisoning? Right. I forgot. I had gotten Sir Deweyville to advertise the dangers of lead poisoning on the news and on the newspapers and magazines. It seems like he did it well. But for some people, what does it matter if one or two low-class commoners die? There are plenty of people waiting for jobs, Klein thought with a heavy heart. As a senior journalist, Mike didn't lose his reason. He observed and asked a few workers who had changed shifts. He then left the lead factory. Subsequently, they entered one factory after another, but lost their mood to discuss anything, as they saw the squalor of the place and the intensive labor involved. It was almost noon when Klein suddenly discovered that there were a lot of people gathered outside a factory. They were mostly women and were excitedly shouting something, trying to rush in. What happened? Mike asked Old Kohler. Old Kohler was also puzzled. I'll head over and ask. He jogged to the outside of the factory, blended into the crowd. It took him several minutes to get back to Klein and Mike. They're gonna smash those new machines. Old Kohler took a breath and got to the point. Why? Mike hadn't been in charge of similar news before, so he didn't know much about the situation. It's probably like a automation sort of, like they're mad that their jobs are being automated or something. Old Kohler pointed to the factory and said, "This is a textile factory. They wish to use the latest textile machines, so the number of people in charge of controlling the machines needed will decrease. It seems like they're going to fire a third of workers. The female workers want to smash the machines and get their jobs back, or they probably won't survive. Perhaps the only choice for them is to become street girls." Yark, how's it going? Dr. Z, how's it going? So get that different. Marshall, how's it going, man? How you doing? I'm at work. Pretend like I'm not here. All right. Oh, I forget. Yes, your weekends are Thursdays and Fridays, aren't they, Dr. Z? Mike opened his mouth. From the shape of his mouth, it looked like he was going to say fools, but he didn't say anything in the end. He just looked in silence and didn't even move closer. Let's go back. I've pretty much finished my investigative interviews. After a long time, Mike sighed. All three of them turned around and... Good Lord, Jesus. All three of them turned around and began to walk out of the factory district. None spoke as they walked. As they were about to part, Mike glanced at Klein and spoke in a low voice. Do you think those women can still find anything else if the lead factory who do not provide protection are shut down? Or if their bosses are sent to court? Klein gave it some serious thought. If it's just some factories, it won't be much of a problem. But some female workers might suffer from hunger and cold while looking for other jobs, and they'll gradually lose their strength because they don't have savings. But if it's too many factories, it would be a disaster, not to mention the people who lose their jobs after the new textile machines are used. The Backland factory district alone might have thousands or even tens of thousands of unemployed workers who have no food or clothing, roaming the streets like zombies. They might lower the conditions of their pay in order to snatch the job of others. Who knows how many people in Eastboro will lead an even more difficult life or die as a result. It would be a hell-like scene, and even if the world doesn't have Beyonder powers, it would still bring about huge disaster. And now, various evil gods are lurking in the darkness, waiting. Klein swallowed all the words in his mind. Mike fell silent again. After paying 10 pounds and 6 soli, he left the smog-emitted factory district in a carriage. 10 pounds 6 soli? Who the fuck? That's not the cost of the carriage. What the fuck? What costs so much? First time catching a stream. No surprise since it's 3 a.m. Oh, I don't normally stream at this time, Marshall. It's 6 a.m. for me too. Trust me, this is a fucked hour. I don't exactly like to stream at this time, but it just but there's a I don't know how much you follow since the other streamer who does a Lord of the Mysteries is finishing volume 2 in the next couple days, maybe today, and he's gonna stream in a couple hours, so I moved my time back a little. Yeah, trust me, I don't exactly like streaming at 6 a.m. either. I have to get up at 5. It's a goddamn mess, Jesus. Klein looked at the carriage right into the distance, but didn't say anything. Back when he was a Nighthawk, he had known and come into contact with the lives of the poor, but the impression left on him wasn't this deep at the time. A multi-dimensional observation revealed a human abyss in front of his eyes. Eastboro is filled with hidden dangers and tinder-like threats. If one isn't careful, it can be ignited by a cult. Klein pondered for a few seconds and said, Kohler, I'd like to ask you to help me and keep an eye on the situation in the Eastboro. Only when you're not bogged down by work. I'll pay you, giving you money to build a relationship with the other workers. Every week we will set a time to meet at the coffee shop from before. Old Kohler's eyes lit up. No problem. He made no mention of the price. He fully trusted the good detective. Klein weighed his options and said, every time we meet, I'll give you 15 soli as funds and compensation. If you provide me with information that I'm satisfied with, I'll give you another 5 pounds as payment. I'll give you another 5 soli as payments. A pound? Old Kohler blurted out in shock. In his warmest and happiest days, he was only paid 20 soli a week, or 1 pound 1 soli. 21 soli a week, or 1 pound 1 week. Yes, Klein nodded. You have to pay attention to your words and actions. Don't be in a hurry to gather information. Maintain a state of speaking less and listening more, or you'll be in danger. Informant fees such as these can theoretically be reimbursed, but now I'm a self-sponsored 50 pence party. That's a reference to something. I don't know. I mean, it'll be in the footnotes, so that's fine. Klein sighed as he gave a self-deprecating laugh. So anytime is a good time to watch stream. Yeah. I hear that, Eric. I hear that. trust me, because I stream nowadays on average. I think I stream for like 6 hours a day, which is crazy for me. I know. Look how far Klein's risen. He can afford to pay someone £1 a week, and it's kind of like whatever. And he just spent £2,000 like yesterday, 2 days ago. This man is swimming in money. Jesus. Empress Burrow in Miss Audrey's study with within Earl Hall's luxurious villa. The blonde was listening to Miss Escalante, her psychology teacher, as she occasionally stroked Susie, the big dog who was sitting beside her. I love how in this situation there's probably 3 members of the spectator pathway in that same room. Miss Escalante, I assume, is a beyonder of that same pathway. Audrey, who's a telepathist, and Susie, who's a fucking... and Susie, who's a spectator. I love that. With dark hair that went all the way down to her waist, Escalante Osleka noticed that the dog also seemed to be listening intently. She couldn't help but smile and pause for 2 seconds. Following that, she continued with her introduction. There are currently no completely orthodox theories in the field of psychology. There are several schools of thought, such as psychoanalysis, personality analysis, and behavioral psychology. Of course, research on the mind is not only performed by psychologists and psychiatrists. Many professionals in the field in the field of mysticism are doing similar work. Among them, the most famous is... Sorry, I've deviated from the curriculum. Let's return to the topic just now and talk about psychoanalysis. Audrey could clearly notice Escalante's intention to guide the topic. Therefore, she feigned ignorance and curiously asked, "Teacher, I'd like to know more about the research situation for the mind in the field of mysticism. As you know, I'm very interested in that." Escalante pursed her lips, frowned, and said in embarrassment, "But there are vows of secrecy. I mean, these theories and research are parts of secret or mysticism circles. They're privy to those on the inside." Is that so? Then can I join?" Audrey asked expectantly. They aren't involved in anything evil, right?" "How is that possible? It's just a seminar organized by enthusiasts." Escalante diverted the topic after mentioning it. "Let's talk about this later. Let's continue with the lesson. I've got to know where to draw the line. I'll do it one step at a time. If that is the general trait of the member of the Psychology Alchemist, then I don't have to worry too much about it being filled with lunatics and perverts like Mr. A." Audrey deliberately put on an expression of reluctance when skipping the subject, but she politely listened to the theoretical foundation of psychoanalysis. When the class was over, and after sending Escalante off, she returned to the study, carefully closing the heavy wooden door, and said to the huge golden retriever, "Susie, what do you think of her?" "She's not sincere," Susie answered flatly. Then she tilted her head and said, "However, what she said is very interesting. I think it's even more interesting than meat and biscuits." "Susie, do you want to be a psychiatrist in the future, specializing in the treatment of mental illness in animals? For example, that horse which is suspected to suffer from depression at the Glaints." Audrey suddenly fell into a deep thought while wondering if she could prepare a special white coat and gold-rimmed glasses for Susie to look a little more professional. Oh, that'd be so cute. 357. Happenings at the banquet. Slander on my homie Mr. A. Not really slander, is it? I mean, the guy's kind of a lunatic. We know this. Imagine finding out you worked your whole life in a church only to be a sequence 8 and find out about Susie. Oh, that'd be amazing, yeah. You just... that'd be so good. You're like, I've studied so hard And I've contributed so much. I finally got to sequence 8, and then there's this fucking dog. Worse still, imagine working for one of those organizations, getting to sequence 8, not knowing about the acting method, so you spend like a year, 2 years, 3 years digesting the potion, and then you meet this dog who fully digested it in like a month, and you're like, I'm a fucking failure. I'm a fraud. A rich dog. When he got back to Minsk Street from the factory district, Klein had a simple lunch and took a nap. He didn't wake up until the evening when the sky had darkened. My whole life was a lie. But even so, he felt exhausted. Exhaustion that stemmed from the depths of his heart. After quite some time of being lost in thought, Klein went downstairs to the first floor and lit the gas lamp. He prepared to sit on the sofa and read the day's newspaper. But when he glanced around, he saw an invitation letter on the coffee table. He was stunned for a moment before realizing that it was an invitation letter which Stellan Sammer had her maidservant deliver a few days ago. I almost forgot about this. The disguised matchmaking banquet. Klein put down the invitation letter and walked to the bathroom on the first floor. He used cold water to wash his face, sprucing himself to look much more energetic. You talk one of your fellow cultists. Dr. Z is really Mr. Z. Milos, send more Susie art. Compared to when he first arrived at Backland, there was much thicker black stubble around his lips and under his chin. Although it didn't completely eliminate his scholarly bearing, it made him look much more mature and rugged. Someone who doesn't really know me that well wouldn't be able to recognize me in person. Klein exhaled silently, wiped his face clean, and put on his glasses on the bridge of his nose. He took a short break, changed into a shirt that had with a starched collar and a black tailcoat, and then quite formally put on his silk half-top hat and picked up his cane stick and invitation letter before leaving the house for the unit beside his. Wait, hold on. What is a half? Almost all Susie art has Audrey in it. That's fine. That was just a joke, man. You're good. What is a half-top hat? What is the difference between a half-top hat and just a top hat? Just a shorter top hat? Oh, I see. Oh, okay. All right. Amidst the tinkling of the doorbell, he saw Julianne, the maidservant, open the door with Stellan with her blonde hair coiled up high, and her ears adorned with silver earrings. Klein took off his hat, bowed, and said, and praised politely, "Mrs. Sammer, you are very beautiful today." Although his words were extremely perfunctory, it was true that she was much more beautiful than usual. It appeared that her ability to doll herself up meticulously had experienced a significant breakthrough. It seems like the adultery case has made her besties with Ma'am Mary. Besides, Mary is now a tycoon of wealth of tens of thousands of pounds, and she must have been admitted to the National Atmospheric Pollution Council, allowing her to acquaint herself with many people in power. She must have had sufficient experience in the areas of makeup, clothing, accessories, and so on. Klein nodded in understanding. The corners of Stellan's mouth couldn't help but curl up. "These are my new earrings. They cost 8 solai. Lady, you haven't changed at all." Klein smiled, handed his hat, cane, and coat to the maidservant. The fireplace and the pipes in the room brought the warmth of early summer. Many women and young ladies were not dressed that conservatively. Some of their fair arms were exposed, while others bared their chests. Jesus Christ. The distribution of baby formula. Do you think an Aurora Order member would do that? I'm trying to think of a way to that distributing formula would make babies cry more, not less, and then that would bring about enough sadness to bring forth their lord into the world, or the descent of their lord. But I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Luke is talking business with some friends. Let me apologize on his behalf. Stellan played her role as a female host to its fullest. Have your meal first. I'll introduce you to a few well-educated ladies later. Actually, there's no need for that. Just let me eat in peace. Bro, why are you like this? Meet some women. God, talk to some women. Klein doesn't do well with women. I feel like his interactions with women are so limited, no? You mean you're making formula for me? As on the other side, trying to pick faults with myself, I would ask what the baby formula is made of. I can already smell the fragrance of the food. Since there were a lot of guests, with over 20 of them, the dinner was in the form of a buffet. Klein took a plate and walked around, and he found the food was much more varied than before. Cold trout, chicken pie, mutton stewed with peas, salted breast, curry, roast beef, turkey, beef tongue pastry, ham, salad, and cream cake. The alcohol provided was still champagne and red wine. This suited a carnivore's palate very well. Klein, with his large plate, didn't make conversation with anyone. He hid in a corner and slowly savored his food. Klein, why are you like this, bro? Just talk to some women. What is the matter with you? From time to time, he would inwardly make comments on the food. It's not as good as the chefs at the Quelaag Club. He was about to go for seconds when he was finally discovered by Mrs. Sammer. At the same time, he saw an acquaintance beside the lady. He was none other than lawyer Jurgen with a serious expression. Right, Jurgen is also a bachelor. Klein smiled and walked over. So, how is Mrs. Doris doing? Jurgen tugged at his bow tie uncomfortably. She'll be discharged next week. That's great, Klein added. At that moment, Stellan had already brought a few young ladies over and introduced them. This is Mr. Jurgen Cooper, a senior solicitor who earns at least £3 a week. He often gets commission from cases that he handles. He will definitely earn more than £200 a year. Furthermore, he's young and capable. He will most likely become a great lawyer in the future. Klein's priority, food plus money, going back to Earth. I know, but it's being so overt that it almost borders on antisocial at this point, Yark. Klein likes money, not women. Man, he would hate prostitutes then, because he loses money and gains women. He's like, fuck. This is Mr. Sherlock Moriarty, a well-known detective. His income is unstable, but he's paid handsomely for every mission. For example, 10 or 50 pounds. He sort of is after having to leave his family. Yeah, exactly. Client can only talk properly to Miss Audrey or Miss Bodyguard. I mean, I wouldn't want to find a girl I love from going back to Earth and leaving her behind. I'm not saying you have to find a girl you love, bro. Yark, I feel like there's a stark difference between I do not talk to women unless they give me Beyonder, unless they help me in my Beyonder abilities, and I don't want to find someone to fall in love with. Like, I feel like there's like, I don't know, 400 steps in between that. I don't know. Lady, isn't this too direct? Klein couldn't help but lampoon. Jurgen, who was standing beside him, evidently frowned. Without feeling that she had made a faux pas, Stellan continued the introduction. Miss Sarah Taylor. Her parents are teachers at a grammar school. Mrs. Angela Watson. Her father is a civil servant at the Backland Police Department. Klein smiled numbly and greeted each lady. Well, Klein is alone in a foreign world. After Stellan was done, Jurgen said in a deep voice, Mrs. Sammer, it's impolite not to mention the incomes of others in front of, it's in front of others. Stellan wasn't mad. Instead, she replied very seriously, "No, it's very important. If you end up liking each other and decide to start a family, then income is essential." His goal is to get back home, not frolic with women. I get that point, but then you also have to understand, he's, at the very least, he's going to be stuck here for a while. He's going to be stuck in this world for a while, and it doesn't make any sense to just sit here and sort of revel in your sadness, or like, oh, like, I just want to go home, I don't really care about anything. It may feel like a distraction at the moment, but it helps keeping you sane and leveled. Well, Klein, yeah. Okay, think about it. There must be meat, vegetables, fruits, milk, white bread, butter, cream, and other foods every day. It costs nearly £1 and 5 solai a week on food alone, not to mention the alcohol. In addition, to rent a better house is nearly £1 a week. Yes, there's also the need to purchase water, gas, charcoal, soap, and the like, and transportation expenses. This adds up to another 10 solai. This is just the most fundamental expenses. Are you not bringing your wife to a musical concert or to go watch a play? Don't you need to get new clothes every year? Ladies, I believe that a family must spend at least £30 a year on it in order to be considered a decent life. In addition, there is the salary of a maid, the cost of education for any children, emergency money that needs to be set aside for medical treatment, as well as expenditure of some necessary decorations. Only an income of £200 a year or more can meet those needs. Only then can a family be achieved. Thus, in order to not delay anyone's time or cause any misunderstandings, I believe it's necessary to include these in introductions. As a lawyer, Jurgen was momentarily unable to provide a rejoinder. What the actual fuck is a rejoinder? Out of that, it would have said retort. A reply, especially a sharp or witty one. Oh my god, that's such a good word. What the fuck? Oh my god, I love that word. Holy shit. Definitely incorporating that into my vocabulary. Rejoinder. Fortunately, he always had a serious and stern expression on his face. How big-hearted, but the basic etiquette is to tell the two parties this information in private, and of course, I know exactly why you're making introductions straight to their faces. Yes, income is very important. Only an income of £400 a year can host a dinner at this level. Only with that much can one afford to have a wife be dressed in beautiful dresses and exquisite earrings. Stellan raised her chin slightly as though she was trying her best to suppress her smile and said £430. I mean, there must be some savings every year in order to prevent accidents or have spare cash to invest into stocks or bonds. That was her husband's approximate annual income. Username, how's it going, man? After finding a common topic for the two strangers, she left and greeted the other guests. Klein could also clearly sense that Sarah and Angelina and the other ladies were more interested in lawyer Jurgen. After all, he was a good-looking man, and his job and income were very stable. As for a private detective who might be locked up in a police station at any time, they were not the first choice for middle-class women. Besides, Klein now looked more rugged with a beard. It wasn't a surprise that the girls would remain a little apprehensive towards him. After a short casual chat with them, he found an excuse to leave before hiding in a corner and eating while he enjoyed Jurgen's awkward and helpless performance. My mom thinks I'll marry my PC. Well, you're only 18, Romero. Give it time. Every family has one of these people who considers matchmaking the ultimate goal of their life. That person is my dad. Oh my god, that's gotta suck. Only popping by, might be back later. No worries. I've come to expect that of you, username. Wouldn't expect anything else. You're a good man. At this moment, it was a wonder where his eloquence as a lawyer had gone to. A few minutes later, the two children of the Sammers ran past Klein while playing. They noticed the gentleman in the corner and said, "Mr. Moriarty, we heard you're a detective." "Yes," Klein smiled in response. "Can you tell us about a case you've cracked?" Her twin brother nodded immediately. They have a pair of twins? Oh, that's cute. "The cases I cracked, if it doesn't involve wraith, puppets, or devil dogs, then it's about finding cats or dogs or catching adulterers. There's really nothing for kids." "Okay, here's a story about Treasure." An officer who had only just returned from East Balam was murdered. What the fuck? So he could only make up, he had mostly forgotten the detective novels he had read in his previous life. So he could only make up based on a vague impression. The two kids didn't really care about the irrationality of the plot and listened very seriously. What happened next? Without realizing it, Klein was a lot more relaxed. When the banquet was almost over, he was about to leave. He saw Stellan's face filled with joy. "What's the cause for celebration?" Klein asked. Stellan raised her head slightly and said, "Mary has received a luncheon invitation from the Chief Secretary of the National Atmospheric Pollution Council, Mr. Hibbert Hall, on Monday. This gentleman is the eldest son of Earl Hall, a true nobleman. He has invited all the members of the council and has allowed them to bring 2 or 3 friends. Luke and I were just invited by Mary." Whoa, 2 parts of Klein's circle are about to meet. I mean, obviously they won't know that, but... Monday afternoon, dressed to the nines, Stellan Sammer was accompanied by her husband Luke Sammer, followed by Miss Mary to Empress Borough, where they saw a large building. Marble statues, pools, fountains, gardens, and lawns reflected themselves in her eyes, making her feel nervous even before she entered the villa. "Luke, does my necklace not match my dress?" she asked her husband as she tilted her head. "Darling, you're too nervous. You don't have to worry about that. The nobles only live in a place that's slightly bigger than ours and eat a little better. We aren't lacking in any way." Audrey's non-racist brother? Well, we don't know him that well yet, Romero. Let's not make such large generalizations, okay? Maybe he too thinks that people of darker skin are better as servants, or whatever the fuck her older brother said. I can't remember. Oh, you're a doctor. You'll be fine, Dr. Z. I mean, I guess you don't need me to convince you of that. You need to convince your parents, I guess. So I don't know what I'm consoling you for. Stella nodded when she heard that, as though she had found her confidence. Entering the villa, they saw the gorgeous crystal chandelier, the hall which could accommodate many dancers, and the plates of delicious food. Milos, why are you like this, bro? Foie gras, pan-fried dragon-bone fish, baked lobster, Ormir grape wine, misty champagne. It's exactly the same as the magazine's description. Stellan looked at the food with curiosity, thinking that she could have such a meal on a holiday or during New Year's if they scrimped a little. Except for the Ormir wine and the misty champagne, she added in her mind. At this moment, her gaze suddenly straightened as she saw a young girl wearing a beige palace dress walking over. The girl had blonde eyes and green hair and was abnormally beautiful. Audrey. She wore a pair of white silk gloves with a pair of small emerald earrings. She exuded pureness and elegance. I think that's by design, Romero. I think it's to show you like the stark difference, right? Fuck, I can't remember. What was the movie? Was it In Time? Is it? Yeah, there's a old Justin Timberlake movie. I say old. It was like 2011. Called In Time. That kind of does a similar thing, but except in this world, like time is the currency, and like if you run out of time, then you just fucking die. Yeah. I don't know if any of you have seen that movie, but it's a good movie. It's good for a one-time watch. She's just like an angel. Even though she had always been proud of her appearance, Stellan couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. She felt an inexplicable sense of inferiority at that moment. "Hello," she clumsily greeted the etiquette she had just learned. "Hello," the girl replied in a graceful manner. After they had passed each other, Stellan accompanied her husband and Mary to meet the distinguished guests in the noble Hibbert Hall. After a while, she walked to the balcony by herself, intending to ease her mood, but she unexpectedly saw the angelic girl from before. She was looking over at the landscape. A huge golden retriever obediently sat beside her. "It's so cute," Stellan made an attempt to start a conversation. The young girl replied, "Let me thank you on Susie's behalf for your praise." As she looked at the duo, Stellan suddenly felt that she should own a similar pet for herself. I love how, because Stellan wants to... Jesus Christ. Because Stellan is so involved with appearances, and it matters so much to her to appear well off and appear like they're doing well. And they're doing fine, don't get me wrong, but the appearance really matters to her, the aesthetic of doing well. She sees this person who she kind of sees as I want to say a better version of herself. I don't mean better as in a better person, as in someone who's prettier, someone who has a better dress, someone who has better jewelry and stuff. Now that she saw Audrey have a golden retriever, she's like, oh, I should really have one too. That aesthetic feels great. That's this is so well done. It's so measured. It doesn't say any of that, but it's hey, in her mind, she wants to try to get as close to what she's seeing here, because she always portrays herself as better than those around her. I don't mean better as in oh, I'm better than you, but oh, we're doing really well, we're upper middle class, we we host a banquet for our friends and all that stuff. And now she's coming here and she feels unbelievably inadequate, and her husband is assuring her hey, we're still fine, but she feels so inadequate. So now she's trying to oh shit, I should try to pick up what I can from here. This was the only way to showcase the Sammer's dignity, she added in a measured tone. "I heard that the nobles rear a lot of hunting hounds. Is this one of them?" "Yes." The girl, whose emerald green eyes looked more enchanting than her earring gems, lightly nodded. "May I know how much money is needed to buy one?" Stellan asked with a smile. The pure and elegant girl looked down at the golden retriever and said without minding the question, 450 pounds. Oh my god. Her husband's annual salary is 430. Dude, that would be you earn 70K a year, and you see someone have a dog and you're oh, that's really good. How much was it? Do you mind if I ask how much you got him? Well, oh, I got him from a breeder. He cost 75 grand. You just stand there shell shocked. Dude. Yeah, actually cooked. Oh my god. Oh god, actually cooked. It's strange how Cuttlefish makes a character like her weirdly endearing. As a character, of course, she'd be obnoxious IRL. Yeah, exactly. Sammer's world broke into pieces. Yeah, exactly. Because going in, she already felt inadequate, and then her husband was listen, they only live in a house a little bigger than ours, and they only eat a little bit better. It was homie, their dog eats a little bit better than you do. Let's calm the fuck down. Oh, actually cooked. Holy shit. The Sun's worry. Ooh, thank God we finally get to hear what the fuck's happening with Derek. On a yeah, I think that's a part with a lot. I think that's a thing with like a lot of authors, or like, sorry, let me be clear. A lot of good authors, Marshall, where a character can sound endearing because we're sort of imagine the cost if you include the potions. Because you're sort of distant from it, right? Like it's you don't notice the downsides because when it happens to someone else, it's like a funny haha, like, oh, well, that must be annoying. But if it's happening to you, you're like, holy fuck, like I hate this person. They keep annoying me. They keep doing X, Y, and Z, right? Like the closest example I can give is like I played a lot of chess. I still play a little, but like I used to play a lot during the pandemic. And one of the things you quickly realize when you start playing a lot of chess is like when you're playing yourself, your rating is like 400 points lower than it is when you're watching someone else play. Because you're so zoomed out from the situation when you're watching someone else play, you can be a lot more objective. Like you don't get locked into trains of thought. You think of a move and you think, oh, like maybe that's not good, and think of other moves. Whereas when you're playing, you get locked in and you're like, okay, so my next move has to be this, okay? And then if I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this, I win. And you just do, and you forget to consider, like, dude, that guy's also doing shit. Like, zoom out and think about what he's doing. It's that. It's just this inability to place yourself in the shoes of others, and having like a ability to take a step back. Being a third person allows you so much more. What's a good way to put this? It allows you so much more freedom of thought. Let's put it that way. 358. On a luxurious carriage on their way home, leaving Earl Hall's villa. At least this time they didn't say Earl Hall's luxurious villa. We're making moves. Yeah, no, I believe she's kind-hearted. Luke was chatting with Ma'am Mary when the distinguished guest asked, such as the chairman of the National Atmospheric Pollution Council and the chief of the National Weather Service, Sir Durs Shaw, or the council member of the National Atmospheric Pollution Council and the president of the Royal Meteorological, Jesus Christ, that is a rough word, Society, House of Commons Member of Parliament, Mr. Cave. This motherfucker has like 3 titles before his name. I hate Mr. Cave already. I don't give a shit. Dude, this guy could be fucking Gandhi and I hate him already. Or Mitsy Shire Medical Health Director in charge of the renowned doctor, Mr. Hawksley. I think the reason she isn't infuriating us much is that Klein takes it easy. I mean, if Klein was getting angry over her comments instead of lampooning, we couldn't stand her either. That's a good point too. Klein is also very measured, so that definitely helps regulate our emotions as well. Yeah, that's definitely a part of it. I don't plan ahead when I play chess. I just make moves on the fly. I have awful foresight. You just gotta play more, Milos. You'll get better. After a while, you the ability to learn like a back and forth, like, hey, I do this, and then they're gonna do either this, or this. Like if I do E4, they're either gonna do E5, B4, they're gonna do D4, like that sort of stuff. It comes naturally. It just takes some time and effort. I told you I love her character. She's helping Klein in a way, in her view, she's helping him. Yeah, no, exactly. She's definitely she's trying her best to help him. She just doesn't understand that his motives are significantly different from the average person. So, they were all influential figures in government and the royal family or parliament, and the council's final report would be the most important basis for the planned Anti-Pollution Act and Smoke Emission Act. The Coim company, which symbolized in anthracite and charcoal, was trying to promote and expedite the development, disrupting older but larger competitors from handling the changes. They will certainly not be stingy with their money and will certainly lobby the heavyweight members of parliament to interfere with our investigation. We must have a clear solution, like what Hibbert Hall said. We need to take hold of public opinion and let the newspaper and magazines repeat the horrors of smoke pollution. Luke was a senior manager at Coim, a key assistant to Coim's major shareholders and a person in control. Mary and he himself was quite capable. As they chatted, Luke suddenly noticed that his wife was sitting next to him without saying a word, as if she had lost her soul. Oh, she's starting to realize, like, damn, bro. Wait until Klein will never tell her, but, like, if she ever realized that Klein made her husband's annual salary in, like, a week, she would fucking die. She would just have a heart attack on the spot. Just... I played chess regularly for a few days and I started to get a kind of vague feeling for moves. It was really strange because I'm utterly terrible at playing. Oh, playing genuinely helps so much. And I found it even helps me sort of think out my thought process outside of chess even. Like, I think, like, okay, if I do this... And then I can calculate, like, okay, there's like 3 or 4 possible outcomes. If that happens, I'm okay. If that happens, that's really good. If that happens, that's not great. If that happens, like, I'm fucked. And then I can like calculate which is best. Like, it helps me just do my planning better in life in general. Like, I found playing chess is so immensely helpful in just general planning and making a process and stuff. Yes, hi Lou. We're at that part now. Stellan, what happened? Luke asked with concern. Stellan jolted back to her senses, forced a smile, and said nothing. I'm just a little tired. Oh, that's right. You must be extremely tense seeing so many important figures. But you can relax now. Exhaustion is very normal. It's the same for me. Stellan didn't respond. Instead, she looked out the window, towards the park with a lake. Her ears were still ringing from the casual words of the young noble girl from before. 450 pounds. A trained hound is priced between 450 and 700 pounds. City of Silver, at the bottom of the spire, Derek Berg was locked in a small room, eating food while taking medicine regularly. As a result, his mental state rapidly improved and his visual and auditory hallucinations were no longer present. No, I was simply listening to voices, Secrets Upland all the way. I used to like chess, but lately my ADHD made me forget everything. Imagine the game is gonna end in like 4 moves and you suddenly forget what game you're playing. Jesus Christ. Okay, that sounds rough. I'll be able to leave in a day or 2. It's really hard to stay locked up in such an environment for a long period of time. The former captain has been locked up for 42 years. Yet he's still very lucid and rational. If it were me, I definitely would have gone crazy. That's actually a good point. I feel like anyone would go insane after 42 years. But that guy was like very in charge of his faculties. However, the explorations and strange monsters that he spoke of are rather attractive and even terrifying. Derek sat at the edge of the bed, looking at candles that had been burned to the end. Before the keepers delivered his next round of food and medication, he would be placed in true darkness. At that moment, he saw a grey fog spread out as the deep voice of the fool sounded. Prepare for the gathering. This might be the first time we've ever seen a gathering start from the point of view of others and not Klein himself, because usually we see Klein go above the grey fog, initiate, and then we see it from their point of view. But this is the first time we've just seen it from their point of view. Seems like something's different. Such a change was fleeting. Derek focused his attention and subconsciously counted his heartbeats. However, he realized that was no longer necessary because he was already in a state of solitude and he didn't need to avoid others. I wonder if Mrs. Samers would faint on the spot if she knew Susie's drank like 500-pound potion. No, I don't think so, Hailu. I don't think she would faint. I think she would just have a heart attack on the spot. Like her heart would just explode. Derek, who was no longer counting his heartbeats, quickly thought of a question. Would Mr. Fool's subsequent actions of pulling me above the grey fog be discovered and detected when I'm in the confines of a seal of the mystical object at the bottom of the spire? There were 2 mystical items that had prevented the complete destruction of the city of Silver in the face of several calamities. In his nervousness and unease, Derek, who had been unable to come to a decision, saw the endless dark red lights gushing out from the void and engulf him. The small enclosed room suddenly turned silent. Even the sound of his breathing became weak. Suddenly, the metal between Derek and the former exploratory team captain produced a tapping sound. This was the signal the two of them used if they wanted to talk. The other person bent his fingers and knocked again. After that, what should have been a third tap that followed in succession didn't happen. After a long while, the tapping sound hesitantly rang out again. Following that, both rooms fell to silence. Not a single sound could be heard. The poor guy next door probably just wants to talk because he's like, oh my god, I'm losing my fucking mind. I'll just talk to anyone, dude. Can you increase both music and volume a little bit? I can up the volume of the music, Nightwalker. If I increase the volume of my mic much more, I'm probably entering. Fuck it. Let me know if it's too loud and then I can adjust accordingly, or if the voice is starting to tear apart. I don't like using the gain function too much because the way it adjusts is not great sometimes, but just let me know if it still sounds okay. I can increase, and I'll increase the music now too. Yeah, give me a second. Hopefully that's better. Music change soon. All right, yeah, no worries. Just give me a heads up and does anyone know what to put on? And then I can do that. No worries. After finishing her luncheon, Audrey practiced on the piano before returning to her bedroom while keeping track of the time. As she passed her father's study, she saw the door was ajar and thick stacks of paper lay by on the side. Those weren't there before. Curious, Audrey slowed down and winked at Susie. As a spectator, Susie often needed only a small hint to understand what her mistress wanted to do. Of course, she would also occasionally pretend she didn't understand, only wishing to lie still. Susie, who had received the signal, trotted silently into the study and stretched out her front paws, placed them on the edge of the table and stood up straight. She quickly glanced at the front page of the stack of documents, returning to Audrey's side, and said, "Survey of living conditions at all levels in East Borough." Audrey, what do those words mean? Survey of living conditions? Why did Father suddenly commission this survey? I don't understand ever mentioning anything to him. Audrey was confused and didn't bother to answer Susie's question. She looked around and seeing that the servants were at their station and not paying particular attention to her, she raised her head slightly and calmly turned to enter Earl Hall's study. At the desk, Audrey looked down at the report and saw the title was exactly as Susie had described. It's a document typed by a typewriter. The investigator is a reporter named Mike Joseph. There's the goddess's sacred emblem at the bottom. Was this commissioned by the Church of the Goddess? But why was Father given a copy? Father is a believer of the goddess, and the church wants to provide him some support? That's a good thing. Audrey made a preliminary judgment. She originally thought of hiring others to do a similar investigation, but felt that was not in accordance with her intention of guiding others behind the scene. It was very easy to be noticed and could no longer be ignored by other nobles, hence she was a bit hesitant. Audrey reached for the file and flipped through it. She found that Mike Joseph wasn't the only one reporting on the East Borough, the dock area, and the factory district. There were quite a number of people who had their own investigations from different angles. Some of them even mentioned the proliferation of cults and some beyonders that were colluding with the gangs. Audrey looked at the clock in the study and saw that it was almost 3. She quickly gave up on reading the report carefully and returned the document to its original state. Before she left, she picked up a book and used it to disguise for her purpose of entry. I know, should be okay. Yeah, sounds good, DSV. At 3 o'clock sharp, while the chiming of the hanging clock was still reverberating through the air, Audrey had already appeared inside the majestic palace via the dark red illusory light and found herself beside the ancient long table. She smiled, stood up, and bowed in the direction of the seat of honor. "Good afternoon, Mr. Fool." Having received a light nod in response, she then respectively greeted the hanged man, the world, and company. She keenly noticed that the son seemed to be a little uneasy. "What are you worried about?" Audrey asked. This spirit declined the need to speak, having also noticed that the sun didn't seem right. Entering the mysterious space ahead of time, he tidied up the items on the table, tossing them into a corner along with Azek's copper whistle, with biological poison bottle, numinous episcopate's copper whistle, and other things. He had then covered them with a thick fog. Presently, there was only the Black Emperor card present on the table before him. This was an item that matched the identity of the fool. Derek didn't hide anything and immediately recounted his successful malingering? What is this word? And how he was sent to the bottom of the spire to be isolated for treatment. Finally, he said, Honorable Mr. Fool, will that mystical item detect my participation in the club?" How the hell would I know? I don't even know what it is. But there's no strange or powerful forces attempting to invade. Even the EBS and the True Creator couldn't find this place. Klein tapped his finger on the edge of the table and replied in a relaxed manner. Generally speaking, it wouldn't make any discoveries, but some mystical items possess special effects. Seeing that Mr. Fool had given an affirmative answer, Derek was immediately relieved. He tersely acknowledged and said, "I'm not sure if it's special effects either. It's one of the City of Silver's top secrets." At this moment, he suddenly had a thought what the former captain of the exploratory team had told him. He blurted out a question. "Have any of you heard of a person named Amon? Or Amon, sorry. Amon." After a moment of thought, Klein remembered the source of the familiarity. But he didn't answer in a hurry. Instead, he looked at the hanged man, knowing full well that this middle-ranking member of the Storm of Churches, of the Church of Storm, the Storm of Churches, what the fuck? And the Church of Storms also knew the word Amon. And perhaps he even knew more than he did. Similarly, Audrey looked at the hanged man. She had also heard the name from him last time. To be honest, FQ, my instinct is to pronounce it Amon, but the last time I did that, everyone got pissy in chat and told me it's Amon, so I'll stick to Amon. I don't really care. Fours listened with a blank face, feeling the things discussed were outside her scope of knowledge. Aldir frowned and said, "You ran into a man who called himself Amon while you were exploring the surrounding areas of the City of Silver? Or you found some related documents?" Derek nodded and said yes. 42 years ago, an exploratory team encountered a man claiming to be Amon in the depths of the darkness. After they returned to the City of Silver, they lost control one by one. Only one of them was left, and he's imprisoned down here next to me. Maybe he went mad too, and it's just a figment of his imagination, Fours with a wealthy novel creation experience postulated. Alger glanced at Mr. Fool, who sat at the edge of the table. Seeing him appear stead for without expressing anything, he boldly said, "Imagination is a possibility, but one shouldn't imagine the name Amon for no reason." He turned his head to the sun and said, "In the fourth epoch, about 1500 years ago in the kingdom we live in, there was a family with strange powers. They belonged to the Tudor dynasty, and their surname was Amon. Even in an era with numerous high-sequence beyonders, the surname of this clan was taboo." That's kind of nuts. All right, that's going in the lore. By the way, seriously, thank you so much, Romero, for tossing that in yesterday, dude. Apparently, Romero told me the first mention of Amon was in chapter 66. Yeah, I wasn't keeping notes back then. My first stream ever was at like chapter 58 or some shit. So yeah, I definitely wasn't keeping track back then. So yeah, thank you for that. $359, the blasphemer. Whoa, who's the blasphemer? Could it be Alger? But I assume he believes in the because Alger's talking. Who else would it be? What the fuck? Come on, Dr. Z, don't make fun of me. I don't like this. Justice Audrey asked instead of the sun, why? The hanged man, Alger, didn't answer her directly as he continued on. Abraham, Antigonus, Ammon, Jacob, and Tamara are the 5 great families that supported the establishment of the Tudor dynasty, and they were second only to the Blood Emperor. No, I'm messing with you, Dr. Z, you're good. Among them, the Amon family was the most mysterious. They have the least history left behind, and they seem to have been distorted and covered up by some kind of power. There was a piece of information that came from the king of the 5 seas, Nast. The Amon are a family of blasphemers, and they wield the secrets to usurp the powers of deities. Also, the Amon family call themselves the descendant of the ancient sun god. Whoa, interesting. Okay. So the other time that we've heard the word blasphemy in at least in important context in LOTM has been the blasphemy cards. Yeah, I'll write it down, Romero. Was the blasphemy cards, and the reason they were blaspheming was that the reason the blasphemy cards are blasphemy is because they give you the ability to become, or they give you the pathway to become divine. The reason the Amon family would be called a family of blasphemers was if they held a complete pathway of the divine. And if they hold the pathway of the sun, and they call themselves the descendant of the sun god, then maybe they possess the entire pathway of the sun, or like the bard, the one that Derek has. Interesting. Oh, and the blasphemy slates, yes. Sorry, yes. Sorry, let me just copy this and then we'll continue reading. You know what, I'm just going to keep my notes open. I feel like I'm going to write a whole bunch of shit down. Fuck it, why not? Okay. Derek was left confused. In the knowledge of myths, there was no such thing as an ancient sun. Well, we already know the sequence 0 for sun, for the bard pathway sun. So, Among the 8 ancient deities, Giant King Ormir, Dragon of Imagination Inkvolt, the Mutant King Kvasthir, Elf King Sonyatherum, Sonyatherum, King of Demonic Wolves Flagrea, Vampire Ancestor Lilith, Phoenix Ancestor Greggrace, and the Demon Monarch Farbauti. None of them wielded the authority of the sun. Derek seriously considered this problem. If I needed to make a connection, the Lord that descended everything, or the Lord that created everything, the omnipotent, omniscient God, had shown powers in the sun domain. Could the Amon family be his descendant? Fuck it, copy that whole paragraph too. Who even cares? At this point, I don't even know why I bother reading the fucking novel. I should just copy paste everything into my notes and just pretend to be an expert. Who even needs to read it if I just copy paste everything? Noticing that the son wasn't saying anything, Alger stroked the stubble on his chin and said, "The Amon family is an ancient family clan from 1,000 or 2,000 years ago. It is almost history itself. I'm curious, why did the gentleman that you met appear around the City of Silver? What was his goal?" That's right. How could the Amon family, which exists in the world of the Hanged Man, Miss Justice and company, appear around our City of Silver? Why did he fail to fulfill his promise after accepting the request of being a guest? He mysteriously left and caused the entire team to lose control. Yes, other than the captain, what did he want to do? What was he looking for? If he is a descendant of the Lord, perhaps his purpose is the same as mine, to find out the cause of the cataclysm from ancient times and find the truth of the curse. Derek let his imagination run wild for a second. After a while, he shook his head and said, "Mr. Hanged Man, I'm unable to answer your question. I'm trying to figure out this matter." Alder replied, looking somewhat disappointed. "Try to communicate with the former captain in your neighboring cell. See if you can dig up more information. However, be careful and prudent. I think that person is very dangerous." "Very dangerous? You think so too?" Derek asked. The elders of the 6-member council thought the same. The Hanged Man looked up at the lofty dome. There's a dome above their heads? What the fuck? And took a deep breath. Those who don't think so are the ones without sound minds. Seeing that the son was still confused, he shook his head and said, "He's the only surviving member of an exploratory team. Just this matter alone is enough to prove that there's something tremendously wrong with him. He's been in the dungeon facing rampagers for 42 years, yet he remains lucid and rational. That shows how weird he is. Compounded with the matters regarding the mysterious Amon, the danger is obvious." These were little bits and pieces that Derek had thought about in the past but hadn't connected together. When he heard that, he suddenly became enlightened and said, "I understand. Thank you, Mr. Hanged Man." I love how Alder's kind of a prick, but when shit hits the fan, he is helpful. He's like profoundly more helpful than anyone else in the fucking in the Tarot Club, because he's the only other mid-sequence Beyonder at the moment. And because he did it through official channels, he has a dearth of knowledge, because he's probably been a Beyonder for a while, and at least he has the official narrative, whether that's, God, I'm sounding like a fucking Alex Jones fucking stan here, but at least he knows what the 7 Orthodox churches say about a thing. Whether that's the truth or not, that's a separate issue, but at least he has a story. Sorry, we're at boss music. Hold on.
Close your eyes.
Audrey, who was listening attentively and observing, resisted the urge to cover her face with her hand. She felt that the son was even more naive than her. Seeing that everyone's curiosity had been satisfied, that even the gloomy Mr. World had slightly adjusted his posture, and that the son didn't have any other requests, she turned her head to the end of the long bronze table and said, "Mr. Fool, I request a private exchange." Ugh, again? Sure. He immediately shielded the senses of the company and isolating himself and Miss Justice. It was mainly because he was afraid that the others might end up communicating out of boredom, thereby exposing the fact that the world was only a repeater. After receiving the signal, Audrey smiled and said, "Mr. Fool, I have another 3 pages of Roselle's diary." After the card of blasphemy was stolen by the Fool's Blessed, she didn't avoid visiting the Royal Museum out of guilt. Instead, she acted as if nothing happened and openly requested to her father, and in the week after the exhibition ended, she got a chance to flip through the notebooks. Audrey thought that the appearing unfazed was the best way to avoid suspicion. If she maintained the constant act of feeling guilty and did not do what was logical, even the Church of God of Steam and Machinery didn't suspect her previously. They would subsequently feel there was a problem. According to her own experience, she believed that the very few first pages of a diary would reveal a lot of information, so she memorized the first 3 pages. I understand that this isn't a matter that requires a private exchange, but I wish to keep this from Mr. Magician for a week or 2. That way, even if she knows you need Roselle's diary in the future, she won't suspect that I'm Miss Justice. She had seen Forrest and Geo once midweek, and by leading the conversation, she had naturally mentioned how her beloved dog Susie chewed the Roselle's notebook, causing it to be irrecoverable. Typically speaking, she no longer needed to hide the fact that Mr. Fool needed Roselle's diary, but using her telepathist ability, she simulated what Forrest would think, believing that she would have such a thought. What? That's a diary? A diary Roselle recorded his secrets in? Even Mr. Fool places such importance on it? I know that Miss Audrey has some. Wait a minute. Those pages were chewed up by her dog a few days ago. Is this too much of a coincidence? To prevent Forrest from having such thoughts, Audrey hoped to keep it a secret for at least another week. After becoming a telepathist, not only was she able to see the aura and emotional colors of her target, she could also read through the superficial thoughts of others and could stimulate their thoughts. Thus, she understood one thing, and in the process of guiding others, she had to try to make not abrupt or act against logic and reason. Only when the details were subtle enough and reasonable enough to make the target not realize that she was being guided would she be considered a qualified telepathist. Subtle and reasonable are the 2 most important key words, Audrey concluded in her mind. The reason why she went to read Roselle's notebook again was precisely to avoid being unreasonable. She truly is worthy of being a telepathist. She recognized long ago that Miss Magician is one of the 2 people she had recommended. What do you want to exchange for these 3 pages? This question was asked with confidence because obtaining the Book of Secrets, his greatest weakness in the field of mysticism, had already been bridged. As for the secrets of other deities, as well as knowledge of his sequence, he knew a lot about them. Just any of them was enough to deal with Miss Justice. We can still be friends if you don't want to talk about the psychiatrist formula, Klein lampooned. I got to... Audrey had already long thought of her question. Mr. Fool, I wish to ask one question. Why is it that the cards of blasphemy hide the profound secrets of deities? Giving her a look to figure it out herself, he said calmly and deeply, "Sequence 0, Black Emperor." Sequence 0? There's a sequence 0? There's a sequence above 1? A sequence that represents gods? The Black Emperor is a god. A series of questions appeared in Audrey's mind. This caused her to be pleasantly surprised, satisfied, and shocked. Restraining her agitation and unconcealable excitement, she took a deep breath and conjured the 3 pages of Roselle's diary. Klein took it and took a quick glance, confirming this was not one of the ones he had seen before. February 23rd, 1143. I've transmigrated to this world for more than a week. I have to write something down and describe things I've encountered, or I feel like I'll go crazy. If I write in simplified Chinese, I'm sure no one will be able to decipher it. This world uses alphabetical words. I am now Roselle Gustave, but I'll never forget my real name, Huang Tao. I don't know how I transmigrated either. I carefully recalled and thought about it for a while and remembered that days before I bought a very mysterious silver plate with some strange symbols and patterns on it. It was extremely interesting, but it did not reappear after my transmigration. It's not my cheat item. This is a world similar to ancient Europe. It's after the Renaissance and cannons and guns have appeared, but they're rather crude and primitive. As for me, Huang Tao Roselle Gustave was a fan of online literature. I loved reading transmigration with technology genre novels. I know quite a few useful things and specifically read up on corresponding knowledge. This is the stage where I can display my abilities, but I realized that my fucking memory isn't good. I've almost forgotten everything. The heavens allow me to transmigrate here, but I wasn't given any outstanding memory or a system, nor was I given a two-way door. How the fuck do I live like this? Alright, I'll start with some detail. When I have some money, I'll hire a bunch of craftsmen, inventors, and scientists. I'm only responsible for giving them ideas. It's been a long time since I've felt so full of anticipation, but I still miss Mom and Dad a little. Besides, the entertainment in this world is too monotonous. The one or two maids don't look that good, and their entire bodies exude rustic vibes. It completely shatters my imagination of having young, beautiful maidens accompanying me. I haven't finished reading Lin Gao's 500 Good-for-Nothings, but there are so many beauties that are waiting me on TikTok. What a fucking gooner. Dude, there's a fucking people waiting. There's so many beauties waiting for me on TikTok. Dude, he's so the opposite of Klein. What the fuck? But it seems like they both came from about the same time, because that person, because Roselle has like TikTok and PUBG and all this shit, so it seems like they came from the same time, but they transmigrated like hundreds of years apart. Or 200 years apart, rather. As Klein read, he nearly frowned. Initially, he had determined from the appearance of Pirate King and the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse that Roselle had crossed over 3 to 5 years earlier than him, but now he realized the gap between their transmigration couldn't be more than a year. But why was there a difference of nearly 200 years on this side? $360. Remember this lore? Alright, I'll write it down. Fucking give me a second. The novel would be 18 plus smut. But I guess what I'm curious about is if Roselle got access to the formulas for all 220 potions and their ingredients and all that bullshit, it's kind of wild that he wasn't able to progress to a sequence 0 himself. Or sequence 1, or like a high sequence beyonder, because, well, I guess he could have been, but it feels like a high sequence beyonder wouldn't have died as easily as he died. Didn't say he just got stabbed or some shit? A demigod wouldn't just die because he got a little pokey poke. But whatever. Klein thought seriously for a while and came up with all sorts of theories, but he lacked the necessary information. He could only temporarily ascribe the cause of the matter to differences in how the flow of time, to the difference in time, in flow of time between the Earth and this world. Milos, you said end at 263, right? Not 2? I remember that, Romero. It's in my notes. It's in the notes for Amnesiac. I don't remember it offhand, but it's in my notes. That's fine. He was even Franz Ferdinanded. I would say he was Julius Caesared, but sure, yeah, we can go with Franz Ferdinanded. Does that make the Sauron family Gabriel Principe then, or who is it? Roselle and I transmigrated less than a year apart, but in this world we're separated by nearly 200 years. That's to say, even if I spend 200 years to find a way to return, it's likely I won't lose the opportunity to meet my parents. At most, I would have been missing for a year. Klein made a contrasting inference. Improving his mood significantly, he instantly felt filled with motivation. Of course, he himself knew very well that this reasoning was not rigorous, because this was determined by one's precondition. It was currently impossible to confirm it. What song am I putting on, DSV? And, oh, okay. Yeah, no worries. Just someone give me a heads up when, and I can do that. Wait, what did you say? You know the sequence potion formula? You know the potion formula for sequence 0? There already was a god of steam and machinery at the time? Oh, that's a good point. And if there's a sequence 0, then there can't be a sequence 1. But he still could have been in a sequence 2. A sequence 2 is a fucking angel. You're telling me an angel died because of a little pokey poke? What did they poke him with? The fucking Michael sword? The Sauron family was created by a transmigrator who loved Lord of the Rings. Nice. I say that. I've never seen Lord of the Rings, so I don't fucking know. I mean, I know it's a reference. I know that much. Like, everyone's heard the name Sauron, but but I've never seen it, so I can't make anything cool. Maybe an angel fought him. I mean, maybe. Of course, he knew very well that this reasoning was not rigorous because it was determined by one precondition and it was currently impossible to verify. What if Roselle transmigrated after me? That might involve the so-called spatial temporal turbulence. When the time comes, there's no guarantee that I'll return to the proper time. Klein poured cold water on his burgeoning mood. Roselle's first diary entry was the product of having held back for a long time. Therefore, it took up more than 2 pages. Klein flipped to the end and read the remaining 2 lines. What a boring world. There are no newspapers and few novels. I think I need to help this world culturally. I think I need to help this culturally impoverished society. But the premise of that is that I have to get some money and recall how paper is made and how the print press is done. Oh, true, Milos. Yes, I didn't even consider that. You can see how like how much I disdain like conspiracy theories, because like I just take the official narrative at face value. It didn't even occur to me that that's possible. Oh, Amnesiac, much better. Yes. She gave him the Glock 3000 so good he just died on the spot. Okay, hold on, I gotta... As a transmigrator, I can only live on the pocket money that my new mom and dad gave me. I can only occasionally see a movie, 1 or 2 shiny Fermo gold. What a tragic story. However, hunting is quite interesting. February 28th. This world might be a little different from what I know. I got lost while hunting today, and as a result, I met an unimaginably intense battle. In the battle, the man who was surrounded had additional eyes growing on his face, a total of 4. They even shot dark green light. This is a fucking illogical world. Is this a humanoid monster? This is an actual fantasy world, right? 4 eyes. Is this the fucking Hidden Sage again? Who the fuck is this guy? The crazy thing is demonesses have done that. Dude, hold on, what's that?
Tyrion, son of Tywin of Clan Lannister. How would you like to die, Tyrion, son of Tywin? In my own bed, at the age of 80, with a belly full of wine and a girl's mouth around my cock?
That's fucking, that's Roselle. Oh, God. The monster's opponent was even more powerful. He summoned a pillar of light that burned with golden flames. Yes, I think it was summoned. Fortunately, they didn't discover me, and after getting rid of that monster, that person left with the corpse. I, Huang Tao, am indeed the protagonist. I have discovered this world, the truth of this world, a few days after I transmigrated. Perhaps they can recognize the mysterious symbols and patterns on the silver token. Of course, I won't ask. I want to become like them and crack it myself. There's another key as to why I said this. I can't even fucking remember what the pattern looks like. I can only vaguely remember it. Indeed, the protagonist. Emperor, did you pour all your 8th grader syndrome soul into your diary? Klein couldn't help but lampoon. He was very interested in the silver plate, which might have been the cause for Roselle's transmigration, and he was eager to find out what the symbols and patterns on it looked like. If you could really decipher it by relying on the mysticism knowledge of this world, then transmigrating might not have been a coincidence. That's a good point, because if Roselle can remember those symbols, maybe he has access to a different kind of special power that, like, Klein, since Klein has access to the gray fog. He has access to the gray fog by basically doing the same ritual he did to transmigrate, and in this world that gives him the gray fog. So if Roselle transmigrated because of the silver plate, if he can do whatever he did in the real world with whatever symbols or whatever, in this world maybe he has a different power. That'd be interesting. And if he wrote down what those symbols are, then maybe Klein can get access to that power too. And now we're really cooking, because now he's got access to like 2 sequence 0 equivalent powers or some shit. And then this guy's just damn near a fucking god. Klein put down the diary pages, wrapped the fingers on the edge of the table, and lifted the screen that isolated the Hanged Man and the Magician. Go ahead and trade freely. Klein leaned back in his chair and smiled. Forrest took a deep breath and said, I want to purchase the stomach pouch of a Spirit Easter and 20 milliliters of blood from the deep sea marlin. I will pay for it in gold pounds. I still have 430 pounds. I can afford one, she silently encouraged. As for the rest of the money, where the rest of the money would come from, she had no idea. This is one of the main reasons that prevented many Beyonders from advancing. People cannot really attempt to spend beyond their means. If it wasn't for me having to become a trick master to completely be rid of the influence of the full moon's raving, I wouldn't even consider advancing once I gained rich Beyonder means. I wouldn't even make contact with the circle. I'll write books, save up money, drink tea, and stroll the streets with Geo. When she's finished with that task, we can travel to different parts of the northern and southern continent. We don't have to be afraid of dangers or accidents. We can just enjoy life. So wait, sorry, Did Forrest just say if she didn't need to do this to get rid of the raving she would hearing, she just wouldn't even want to advance? Interesting. Just when she thought no one would respond, Alger said, I saw the deep sea marlin blood at a recent gathering. But unfortunately, you already missed it. You should have said so earlier. No, I'm mistaken. You hadn't even joined the club back then. Then what's the point of saying this? Are you just showing off your experience? Forrest curled her lips and said, Mr. Hanged Man, please keep an eye out. I can accept a price between 300 and 400 pounds. Alger sneered. The sea is even vaster than land. Pirates might not even meet each other in half a year. Even on the islands that they dispose their loot, Beyonder ingredients are seldom gathered. Potions are scary, so it makes sense. Oh, okay. Only big cities like Baklan, Trier, St. Milome, and Fainapotter have many ingredients gathered together. For your accent, you should be a Baklan citizen, or someone who's been living in Baklan for many years. You mean that I still need to rely on myself? Forbes almost looked up at the high dome, but at this point Derek said, I know roughly where a few spirit eaters are active, but I don't have the gold pounds you people talk about. Ford said with a fake smile, what do you want? The formula for the Solar High Priest potion, Audrey quickly answered. The formula for the Solar High Priest potion, Derek seriously said. That's a sequence 7 formula, right? I've heard of it, but the formula is at least 750 pounds. And if you're in a hurry to get it, it can sell for more than 1,000. Furthermore, the stomach pouch of a spirit eater and the blood of a deep sea marlin do not exceed 400 pounds each. They're only worth 300 most of the time, do you understand? Without hesitation, Derek replied, I can give you 2 or 3 Spirit Eater pouches. For the additional need for the deep sea marlin, he hadn't even considered it. He had never even seen the sea before. That's so cute. He had never even seen the sea before. What can I do with the additional Spirit Eater stomach pouches? Roast them or fry them? Well, fucking sell them, dumbass. To be honest, I have no idea when I'll be able to sell it. More importantly, I'm unable to afford the formula for a solar high priest. Was forced to smile and said, I'll try searching. She thought of the amassed EBS believer that Mr. A's gathering who was good at purification. She thought of the band of Light Ring. She believed that she could get a clue to the potion formula from of Solar High Priest. But I don't have enough money. She looked around and asked with great sincerity, everyone, do you have any good ways of earning money? That might take the cake for the dumbest question asked in the Tarot Club so far. That's impressive. To the sun, the sea is basically Vinland. That's so cute until you realize he hasn't seen any location other than his city. But that is cute, right? It is cute how innocent he is, how small his scope of the world is. As soon as she finished her sentence, she realized that everyone had fallen into a silence. Silence that could be described as the soundless palace and a quiet grey fog. From the looks of it, everyone faces this conundrum. As for Mr. Fool, he doesn't need money. Isn't the best way to make money, wouldn't the best way to make money be from owning farms, mines, plantations, factories, stocks? Oh, you can also go to the kingdom's bounty notice and complete them in accordance with the price and the period of time at a bearable level. Audrey knew that she didn't have any real experience making money, so she could only respond with a few words in her heart as if she was joking. Might I interest you in bicycle projects? Klein resisted the urge to manipulate the words of the world to say. After waiting for a few seconds, he maintained an unfathomable posture, making the world gloomy and hoarsely say, help me keep a lookout for the 1,000-faced hunter-mutated pituitary gland and blood, as well as a human-skinned shadow characteristic and a deep-sea naga hair. Although Klein only had 589 pounds left, he had the Beyonder characteristic of a werewolf and a biological poison bottle. Furthermore, he was considering to find an opportunity to turn the former into a mystical item and then sell one of them. Wait, how would you turn a Beyonder characteristic into a mystical item? In that case, that's more than enough to match the cost of a Sequence 6 Beyonder ingredient. Therefore, he planned to have the members of the Tarot Club help him pay attention in advance so that he wouldn't miss them. All right, the Sun, Derek answered first, but made no promises. Compared to a Sun Eater, a human-skinned shadows and 1,000-faced hunters aren't monsters that are easy to encounter. 1,000-faced hunter? I think I've seen a fossil of it, Justice thought as she replied. Yes, I'll confirm that after I leave. The Savant pathway? You get a specialist to do it? What the fuck are you guys talking about? Who can we trust if not our shitty teammates? Good point. That fossil was in Duke Negan's treasury. If it's already a fossil, the Beyonder characteristic has probably long been taken away. Klein manipulated the world and nodded non-committedly. After a moment of silence, Alger said, help me keep an eye out on a person who was involved in the disappearance of the colonial slave that was mentioned before. Dude, I still think That's a pretty good theory. That whole the colonial slaves bullshit that Alger mentioned. I still think my theory on the Blood Emperor, the Dark Emperor, whatever the fuck that shit, the Black Emperor, whatever that's called. I feel like it could be the sequence 0 pathway, someone trying to advance, which would be crazy, because I mean that really puts into perspective. I mean, again, I understand. I don't have like a huge amount of conviction in that theory, because there could be other pathways that require like sacrifices or slaves or some shit. I don't fucking know. I don't know any other sequence zeros, right? So my scope is very narrow. I understand that. So I don't have like a huge amount of what would I say? I don't have a huge amount of conviction in that theory, but based on everything that I hear, I feel like it's not a bad theory. I mean, once I'm closer to Easy, I'll talk to him about it and mention it to him. I feel like that's a pretty good theory. He calls himself Balin, a man with a reddish brown skin and a clear characteristic of a southerner, but someone has overheard him speak in a Backland accent. The third tooth on his left is missing, but it could very well have been replaced. In addition, there's nothing special about him. His height is also quite average. If you can find traces, there will be no problem with the reward at all, with it being at least 100 pounds or something of equivalent value. Sequence 9, slaver, yes. Dude, oh god. You get a sequence for slaver, and then like as to act you have to get like a whip or something. Like, god, Jesus Christ. Even divination can't be completed with such a description, let alone carrying out a search for a person in the real world. Klein looked around and said, "Continue with your free exchange." At the end of sequence 6 freak. At the end of the tarot gathering, Derek returned to the real world and found himself in the dark, cramped room. He sat on the ground cautiously for a few seconds. Prepare to change me. Okay. Okay. Jesus Christ. Blue Moon? What is this? I'm gonna turn up the sound a little. If it gets too loud, let me know, okay? At the end of the tarot gathering, Derek returned to the real world and found himself in a dark, cramped room. He sat on the ground cautiously for a few seconds, but he didn't discover any unusual changes. He was finally able to let out a sigh of relief, remembering that the hanged man had advised him to talk to the exploratory team's captain. Derek walked over and bent his finger and tapped on the metal. He completed his signal, but there was no response. Did he fall asleep, or was he taken by the council? Derek wondered while looking at the dull metal wall. At this moment, an elderly and fleeting voice came from the bed behind him. "Are you looking for me?" What the fuck? Did this guy just TP into his room? Is he a moderator on this server? What the fuck? Who is this guy? Okay, 361, translucent worm. Ooh. Are you looking for me? The moment the voice entered his ears, Derek froze, his skin tensed up, and his hair stood on end. Why is he behind me? Why is he in my room? What happened to the seal? What about the effect of the mystical items? His forehead dripped with cold sweat, and he subconsciously wanted to turn around and take a look, but his instinct stopped him from doing so. The instinct originated from the teachings of the City of Silver's general knowledge of monster lessons and the strange scene he had experienced before joining the patrol teams. When someone is behind you, you don't turn around in a hurry. Derek raised his hands and clenched them into fists in front of his chest, then slowly turned around bit by bit. What the fuck is this? Interesting. Is he doing the Wakanda Forever? What is this shit? The room was shrouded in darkness, making it impossible to see anything. However, there was a tint of golden light that was expanded in his two eyes, transforming into what seemed like two miniature suns. With his light suppliant power, he saw a dark figure quietly sitting on the edge of the bed. Okay. With his light suppliant the dark figure rapidly turned clear, revealing a head that had been split in half. In the middle of his head, two gray brains wriggled out like they were alive, trying to get close to each other but being unable to do so. The thick, viscous liquid on the severed surface of his brain had turned into thin threads, but they were shrinking like maggots. Okay. Nightwalker, I'll give you a piece of advice, okay? If you're gonna try to gaslight me by saying someone is spoiling, what you should do is leave the message up for a while so that I see it and then delete it and say, hey, be careful. Don't say don't spoil and then leave it up. It's rather obvious when you're trying to gaslight me. Be better. Yeah, I learned, okay? You guys can get away with that once, okay? Volume 1 end, you guys fucking got me. You're not getting me with this bullshit again, okay? Fuck you guys. Each eye that was on two separate sides were distanced apart, and the nose bridge was separated from the middle. The color of the blood was bright and evident. The left side of his mouth was open, but the right side of his mouth was tightly shut. We need unhinged. No, unhinged hard counters me, dude. Unhinged hard counters me. I can't. He's the meta right now. I can't. The color of the blood was bright and evident. The left side of his mouth was open, but the right side of his mouth was tightly shut. The terrifying monster was naked, and there were numerous dark red wounds on its body. The countless wounds had torn apart savagely, revealing rows and rows of white teeth. They said the same sentence in quick succession. Are you looking for me? It paused for a moment. The corners of its mouth and the edge of its wounds were curling up. Look, am I not normal? Derek's pupils contracted, and without thinking, he placed his folded hands on his chest and raised them to his chin, as if in prayer. The small room suddenly became bright, and a pure beam of light swirling with fire fell from the roof onto the monster's body. The beam was not as grand as the one used by Derek outside the spire. This was because the seal here and the mystical item which had left him isolated him from the spire's exterior. Unhinged went from hero to villain? How? I'm not sure if any of you watch like comics or anything, but it's kind of like how Lex Luthor is always the villain until a really big bad like alien or something comes by, and then he's a hero. Because someone with that intellect will protect humanity. He just fucking hates Superman and wants to kill him. So he's a villain when it's normally him, But when it's not, but when I'm become the villain, then he becomes the hero is the problem. And I'm guessing you guys wanted to try to gaslight me or some shit. And so the fact that I caught on made me the villain now, and Unhinged is the hero now. The beam was not as grand as the one Derek used outside the spire. This was because the seal here and the mystical item which left him isolated from the spire's exterior. But at that moment, Derek was stunned to see the holy light beam that he had prayed down was suddenly thickening. It was so thick that he couldn't help but close his eyes. A few moments later, something purer and thicker separated from the magnificent pillar of light. It was like a man made of light with no facial features and no clothes. Excuse me? The man of light suddenly coruscated and pounced on the monster. All the mouths on the monster suddenly opened as if it was letting out a blood-curdling screech. Yet Derek heard nothing. Dude, who the fuck is this guy? And how strong is he to just... Dude, is this a mod? How did he TP in this fucking super safe, sealed fucking dungeon? What is happening? Is everyone coming here? It was as if it let out a blood-curdling screech, yet Derek heard nothing. The monster began to tremble violently and quickly disintegrated under the burning and illumination of the man of light, disappearing as if it was melting. Just as it was about to become transparent, a phantom was wearing a black classical long robe and pointed hat suddenly appeared. The shadow had black hair, black eyes, a wide forehead, and a thin face. It wore a monocle carved from crystal. As he appeared, the man of light exploded, and Derek's vision was filled with whiteness. What the fuck is happening here? Okay, I'm gonna need someone to explain this to me later. I'm gonna keep reading, but then I'm gonna need some fucking explanations. Hold on. When his eyesight was restored, he found himself outside the room, in the corridor with the metal lamp set in it and the dim light of the settling sun. He tilted his head blankly and looked into the room. He saw a tall, muscular figure in dark trousers and a brown coat. In front of this figure was the bed which Derek had been sleeping in. Dawn-like rays of light condensed onto a white leg bone, turning it into a pure white sharp sword. I feel like... Maybe this is wrong, but this reminds me of the sword that Cresset Sesamir had, the white bone sword. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The short, he's like a Sequence 5 Beyonder. It's a bone sword that he carries around in a little fucking... That's what this is reminding me of, but okay. Next to the straight sword lay a translucent worm. It was only the length of a thumb, but its sliminess was almost that of a child's finger. One ring after another of completely transparent colors divided into many sections. Read what FQ said. Basically, the Gaia Light attacked a monster, the monster died, and in its place, the classical clothes wearing figure with curly black hair, white forehead appeared before it dies. Okay, thank you. Sorry, with so much happening, I'm trying to not read chat because in case someone puts a spoiler or anything, so I'm letting you guys take that. If something is in there and something's really important, let me just holler like you did, Romero, and then I'll check it out, but I'm trying to avoid it until I finish the chapter. I don't want to read something and then get spoiled or something. The tall figure, which had its back facing him, reached out his hand to pick up the strange translucent worm. As he turned around, he sighed. It was close. At that moment, Derek finally saw the face of the tall figure. His hair was grizzled, unkempt, and rather disheveled. He had deep wrinkles around his cheek, but there were no wrinkles at the corners of his eyes. Some old scars that were either deep or twisted remained on his cheek. He was dressed in a flaxen-colored shirt with a checkered leather belt around his waist, and his pale blue eyes were deep and weathered like a book full of stories. For a moment, Derek was stunned. Then, as though he had been in danger all his life, he opened in a pleasant surprise. "Your Excellency." In front of him was the chief of the Silver City's 6-member council, a powerful demon hunter who's over 100 years old, Colin Iliad. Colin nodded slightly and said, "We always knew that he had a problem, but in order to find out what kind of ulterior motives the man named Amon had, we intentionally didn't eliminate him directly. We could only instead lock him at the bottom of the spire, sealed under the influence of mystical items. And we often let Beyonders who have symptoms of losing control live next to him and talk to him. We wanted to see if we could induce some abnormal changes in him to learn the information we wanted to know. But he had been very normal until today. Way too normal." "Why do you think he suddenly mutated and attempted to break through the seal? Do you have any idea what makes you different from the others?" "So it was purposely arranged for me to live next to the former exploratory captain." Derek said, "Maybe it's because my pathway is different from others. Sequence 9 Bard, Sequence 8 Light Suppliant. In other words, the Sun pathway." "Oh, maybe because Amon family was in charge of the Sun pathway, and he's part of the Sun pathway." "Oh, maybe. Maybe whatever was in him was reacting to the fact that there was another member of that pathway present." In other words, the Sun pathway. If Mr. Hankman is right that the Amon family is a descendant of the ancient sun god, then it's normal for me to cause a mutation. Derek felt he knew the truth to a certain extent. Colin listened without a change in expression and sized up Derek before saying, "We were monitoring him. The 6-member council took turns. We didn't expect him to suddenly mutate. There were 0 signs, and his actions were very decisive and determined." "What were you doing in your room just now?" "Yeah, but it also said they were blasphemers, right? So I'm going to assume that they had access to the entire Sun pathway, including Sequence 0, which is what made them blasphemers in the eyes of the others. But that's just, yes, I will say, yes, that's my theory, not stated fact." That's a good point, FQ. I don't actually know. Maybe the parent who's of a higher sequence passes it along? What were you doing in your room just now? Derek, who was considering the relationship between the Sun pathway and the ancient sun god, didn't instantly realize what the chief was talking about. When he realized it, his mind was still blank as he seriously recalled what had been done. "I didn't do anything. I just knocked on the wall and tried to talk to him. Before this, I was participating in the tarot gathering." The tarot gathering! Derek was suddenly stunned. He felt that things might not be as simple as he imagined. He knew that he couldn't inform the chief of his thoughts, but he didn't know what kind of expression to make, so he only maintained his lonely, reserved silence and said thoughtfully, "I knocked on that wall 3 times. What did Dr. Z say? Wait. What did Dr. Z say? Username, how's it going? I don't even know. I'm not even seeing a comment from Dr. Z. What? Okay, you see how the chief killed this guy? The curse on City of Silver means this guy was a direct blood relative of the chief. Imagine he had to imprison his family for decades, then one day kill him. I'm invisible. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't see that message at all, Dr. Z. I don't know why. Chief killed this guy. The curse on the City of Silver means that this guy was a direct blood relative of the chief. Imagine he had to imprison his family for decades, then one day kill him. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Yes. Oh, hence the bone sword and oh, I see. I was on top chats. Yes. Sorry. What the actual fuck is the difference between top chat? Some. Oh. Sorry. Okay. Colin, okay, it's not my fault, Dr. Z. Your message was immediately understood by YouTube to be potential spam. That's not on me, okay? Before that, the candle in my room had extinguished. There was complete darkness. I had tried to practice some of my Beyonder powers. Colin looked directly into Derek's eyes and said after 20 seconds, unfortunately, what Amon left in his soul was not in his original body. Moreover, this matter happened too suddenly, so we were unable to obtain the desired results. Before his mutation, did he notice anything amiss? No, Derek shook his head with conviction. Colin's eyes suddenly flashed with complex dark green symbols, and he reflected Derek's body in them. After nearly 10 seconds of silence, the chief closed his eyes and said, Your condition is stabilized. You don't need any more treatment. You can go back now. Derek was startled. All right. He watched the demon hunter Colin Iliad turn back into the room, pick up the sharp white sword, and turned it over in his hands. He quietly took a deep breath and walked along the corridor towards the exit. On the way, he met the keepers who had rushed over one after another. He slowly walked back home and closed the door before carefully observing the area for a while. The fool that doesn't belong to this era. You are the mysterious ruler above the grey fog. You are the king of yellow and black who wields good luck. I've just experienced something terrifying. Derek recounted what had happened and mentioned his two guesses. After doing all that, he felt much more at ease. With all his tense state of mind relaxing, he felt immense exhaustion watch over him. He laid down and fell asleep. In the silent and dark room, the flashes of lightning would occasionally illuminate everything, otherwise it would seem like the dark night. The sleeping Derek suddenly flicked his right index finger and leisurely tapped it on the bed. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, once, twice, thrice. After the tarot gathering, Klein didn't divine the werewolf Beyonder characteristics or the biological poison bottle due to his spirituality expenditure. Instead, he went straight back to the real world for a nap. After 20 minutes, he woke up, drew the curtains, allowing the light that penetrated through the mist to bring a certain amount of light into the room. Sitting on the chair in front of the desk, Klein calmly and began considering what he needed to do in the short term. The main goal is to continue concluding the principles of a magician and make adjustments according to the subtle feedback. Although principles like never perform unprepared and the need to have a stage in performance and completing a performance using divination, using means of diversion do not seem problematic at the moment, if I were to continue acting this way and perform slight adjustments, I'll be able to digest the potion and reach the advancement stage. But this sort of acting isn't sufficient. I'm still lacking some of the important principles. Currently, what I'm doing will make the digestion slow and not thorough. Perhaps it'll take a year, or even 2 or 3 before my advancement is possible. Since Ink Zone Quill won't just wait for me, only through becoming a high sequence Beyonder as soon as possible will I be able to take revenge. And therefore, figuring out the other magician principles is of utmost importance. First, I'll determine them through experimentation, whether applause from an audience will stir my spirituality and result in better digestion. Just as Klein was in deep thought, he heard a series of illusory stacked please. 362. I'm still so confused. What the fuck happened there? With what happened with the sun? Wait, pronounce what? I feel like my pronunciation's pretty good. What did I mispronounce? Okay, so what do you think about the monocle? I don't fucking know. People can wear one. Whatever. I don't care. Okay, hold on. So, Ramiro, let me just walk through this. What, Ink Zone Quill? That's how someone told me to pronounce it. I don't fucking know. Everyone's unhappy about pronunciation. God, I fucking hate this place. Okay. Let me just recount what happened with Derek. Let me just get my shit in, okay? So, Derek gets up from the tarot gathering, goes to knock on the door. The guy in the captain in the cell next door has TP'd behind him. He then turns into a monster whose head is like split in two directions and is all fucked. He summons light to try to, or summons his powers, the sun, to come down. And then a man of pure light walks in. Or comes in. The man of pure light goes to kill the monster. And then the monster transforms into the chief. And then the chief is... What the fuck? Am I, the most... I feel like I just had the most autistic reading. The man of pure light is the city of is the chief. Oh, sorry. The man of pure light is... and then he kills the monster. Basically. Monster transform... Oh. Okay, the monster transformed into the monocle. Yeah, I'm tripping so hard. That was the most fucking, this happens and this happens. And, what the fuck am I reading? It was the most zigzaggy bullshit, okay? And then, so, the monster transforms into the monocle man, and then someone once told me that the monster is killed, and then the figure appears, and then the chief does his thing, leaving only a worm behind. So did the figure who appeared, the monocle man, he just appeared for a quick second and then transformed into that fucking worm, the translucent worm? When the monster died, they saw the shadow of a monocle man, and the shadow turned into a dead worm. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, I understand. Oh. Okay, so the theory would be something like... Oh, so the theory would be something like that worm was like a parasite inputted by Amon, maybe to make him lose control or to manifest something or some shit. And then so when they killed him, the shadow of maybe who we saw with the monocle was Amon. Something like that. Okay, thank you guys. Sorry, I had to walk through that because I was so unbelievably confused. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I just needed someone to talk that through with because I was so confused. Yes, give me 1 second username. Ince Zangwil. Okay. I was told earlier that it was pronounced like Ink Zonquil. I don't fucking know, man. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Give me 1 second. There you go. You guys can decide amongst yourselves whatever you fucking whatever you guys whoever gets the most thing. Ink and quill is a pun. No one said anything else. Okay. Well, you know what? Reading has never been my strong suit. Okay. Fuck you guys. So it's Ince Zangwil. Is that better? Just to confirm. Okay. Imagine Vince from Mother of... I've not read Mother of Learning, so I don't know. Okay. Ince Zangwil. Okay, no problem. A male voice. Is it Mr. Hankman or Little Son? Klein looked out the window at the gloomy sky, got up, and went into the bathroom next door. He locked the door, took 4 steps counterclockwise, and arrived above the gray fog. Well, yeah, I was saying Ink Zonquil. I'm not disparaging that. Like, that's exactly what I was saying. But that's at least what I read. I assumed that's what you pronunciation was supposed to be. I don't fucking know. I don't really care either. I can call it whatever you guys want. I don't give a shit. Within that mysterious space, a towering ancient palace quietly stood. The illusory male voice echoed in a stacked continuous manner. Stop stalling. Okay, fuck you, dude. Klein glanced at it and confirmed that the prayer was coming from the Little Son. He sat in Mr. Fool's seat, oh, good lord, and stretched out his right hand, emanating his spirituality to touch the corresponding crimson star. Sorry, I was fucking moving around everywhere there for a second. Suddenly, the voice became clear and layered, and Klein quickly figured out what the son was talking about. The former captain of the exploratory team who had seen Amon suddenly lost control and strangely penetrated through the seal, arriving at his room. Fortunately, the City of Silver took this matter seriously and had been constantly prepared for it. Otherwise, it would have led to tragedy. The son believes that it's impossible that there was no reason for the man's loss of control. He came up with 2 possibilities. One was that his own Beyonder pathway met the requirements of being the Ancient Son's descendant. The other was that the man might have sensed the Tarot Gathering and Mr. Fool's secret pull. If it were the former, he wouldn't have waited until today and waited until the end of the Tarot Gathering before losing control. The latter has greater possibility. This is the first time I've encountered someone who can sense matters regarding the Grey Fog. That Amon is very scary. It's no wonder that their family was known as the Blasphemers during the 4th Epoch. Even their last names are taboo. Klein subconsciously looked at the Crimson Star and the corresponding supplicant. He carefully observed the blurry image of the Little Son to see if there was anything abnormal about him. I did change the music. Do you want me to change it back? Keep previous music? All right. Klein believed that Amon wouldn't be so easily eliminated, even if it was as the City of Silver's chief said, that his body wasn't his main that his body wasn't the main body, it didn't make him any easier to eliminate. The only possibility is that the powerhouse in the City of Silver had been using mystical items to monitor him. But is that even possible? When he decided to let the former leader of the exploratory team lose control and silently penetrate through the seal, he definitely had a plan in place. In the midst of his thoughts, Klein suddenly froze as he looked at the prayer scene. The entwined on the indistinct body of the sun was a translucent and illusory figure. He had hands and feet, but he was like a typhoon twisting around the sun while his head rested in the sun's head. In the blurred image, he was wearing a classical black robe, a pointed hat, and a crystal monocle. Whoa, hold on. So the parasite effectively jumped ship from the old leader to Python, not Typhoon. Python? No, Milos, you can't do this to me. Oh God, I can't read. Oh, I'm so cooked. Okay, hold on. The parasite basically jumped ship. Whoa, hold on. Maybe Amon is like trying to possess the body of someone in the same pathway, because the same pathway would allow him to, I don't know, capture more strength or some bullshit. Again, I'm going on the predication that their family controlled the sun pathway. It'd be kind of fucking stupid if the descendants of the sun controlled some other pathway. That'd be real fucking stupid. The sun didn't notice any of this. Klein almost drew a cold gasp, shocked at the strange means that were available to that entity. He vaguely understood the other party's intention. By residing in the spirit body of the sun, he was waiting for the next tarot gathering, allowing him to sneak above the grey fog like a virus or a Trojan horse. When that happens, my control over this fog might be snatched away. He's truly a blasphemer. Fortunately, the little son is rather naive and straightforward, so he immediately reported this to me. Through the corresponding crimson stars and the power of the grey fog, I was able to discover the peculiar state. Klein drew a breath and tried to calm himself. At that moment, he had to respond. He had to think of a way to get Amon out of the sun, or temporarily expel the sun out of the tarot gathering. Looking at himself, from his beyonder powers of the magician, clown, and seer, to Azek's copper whistle and the Black Emperor card, all black eye, the sun brooch, the biological poison, and so on, Klein couldn't find a way to deal with Amon. Amon's sequence is definitely above sequence 4, and that means the means available to him will be sufficiently strange. To be able to escape from the City of Silver's mystical artifacts and powerful demon hunters, it means that he isn't someone that can be easily eliminated with ordinary objects or powers. Amon's sequence is definitely above sequence 4, and the means available... No, what the fuck, I already read this. After thinking for a moment and looking around, Klein discovered that there was only one possibility of eliminating Amon: the Grey Fog, this mysterious space. I have to think of a way to pry its powers away. The sacrifice and bestowment ritual are examples. With this train of thought, Klein turned his gaze to the Book of Secrets. The mysticism book, which originated from the ancient shaman king Klarman, recorded many mysterious rituals that required help from the primordial moon. Klein, who had been reading it before, vaguely remembered that a few of them were suitable for this scenario. Of course, it was unknown what changes he would have to make after directing it towards the Fool. He could only keep his hopes up and try his best. As Klein flipped through the book, his eyes stopped at the ritual. Blood Moon Sacrifice. The ritualistic magic was clearly different from the simple ones that Klein had learned before, and it used the element of a secret deed. The process was to use a material rich in spirituality. preferably the blood of a Beyonder, to write the honorific name of the target on the secret deed of an animal hide, and to draw the corresponding symbol and magical labels. If necessary, the specific circumstances of a given time and place could also be added. When this was done, the ritual host would set up the altar and place a piece of the hide and repeat the honorific name, letting their spirituality seep into the hide, gradually spreading it out, little by little, to form a hidden bond with the corresponding great being, and obtaining the corresponding soul body for experience or help. The final outcome of this ritual was unknown. It all depended on whether what was hidden or great being bestowed. Or rather, according to one's characteristics, the knowledge and power one could gain through the secret bond was also different. This kind of rather vague and subjective ritual gave Klein enough freedom to modify and manipulate it. If he had assumed the stance of forcefully eliminating Amon from the beginning, then Amon would certainly have resisted and created a dangerous accident. If the target of the secret deed were the true creator or the hidden sage, it's normal for the ritual to end in madness. Klein mumbled as he conjured a pen and a paper and began to modify the Blood Moon sacrifice to turn it into a deed ritual that belonged to the Fool. First, he replaced the honorific name of the 3 sentences of King of Black and Yellow, then replaced the symbolic symbol with the one behind the seat of the Fool, Nagato. It was a unique symbol made up of a part of a pupilless eye that represented concealment and the contorted eyes that represented change. The third was to change any corresponding magic labels according to the symbols and the mysticism knowledge. This was the most difficult step. Any mistakes would cause the entire ritual to produce unpredictable developments. Lastly, he had to modify the layout of the altar to make it closer to the Fool and to get to the King of Black and Yellow. After busying himself for a while, Klein had a new secret deed ritual, but was unsure if it would work. He examined it over and over. After confirming there were no mistakes, he emanated his spirituality and heavily replied to the sun, "I am aware. I have something to task you with. Let's see if this ritual works." The sun suddenly woke up from his dreamless slumber. Before his eyes was the great, boundless grey fog and the lofty Fool. His ears echoed with bits of illusory and distant words. He knew that Mr. Fool would occasionally ask his members to make small attempts as if to verify something. He wasn't surprised. He immediately sat up and began to search for a monster hide, exotic herb, and other objects. As for the spiritual materials described in the ceremony, Derek didn't waste time heading to the spire or to the underground market to buy them. He picked up the axe of Hurricane and sliced a tiny wound on his arm. Silently, he used his own blood as ink and wrote the name of the Fool and the corresponding symbols and magic labels on the pitted monster hide. After a while, he put down the quill that was stained with blood. He saw many mysterious symbols on the hide, and the colors were bright red and had an indescribable hint of demonic dealings. That's a good joke, Nightwalker. That's a good joke. I like it. After dealing with the wound on his arm, the pale-faced Derek quickly finished upsetting the altar. He picked up the blood-red word of all kinds of terrifying symbols from the hide and held it tightly in his hand. Now that I think about it, Derek has got to be pale as a fucking ghost. He's never seen the sun in his life. He looked at the... Oh, I guess everyone from the City of Silver has to be. Jesus Christ. He looked at the flickering candle flame in front of him, closed his eyes, lowered his head, and recited the honorific names of the Fool. The Fool that doesn't belong to this era, the mysterious ruler above the grey fog, the King of Yellow and Black who wields good luck. Derek's spirituality slowly flowed and infused with the hide, and the words in Jotun and the magic symbols on it quickly brightened. It was a startling crimson color. At that moment, he, who had already entered a stage of cogitation, was only feeling his psyche gradually dissipate as it floated to an unmeasurable height, coming into contact with the grayish-white fog and the hidden great sage. Campfires and lanterns wouldn't give you yeah, that's not how that works, Milosh. It's not, light doesn't just change your fucking skin color. How long do you think you would have to stand in front of a fucking LED light bulb to get a tan? Above the grey fog, inside the palace that looked like a giant's residence, noticing the sun had not shown any signs of delay in preparing the ritual, Klein chose to wait above the grey fog. Suddenly, he felt the entire mysterious space start to tremble. The motionless grey fog started to flow. The crimson star, responding to the sun, shined brightly and emanated illusory rays of light like the tide. These countless rays of light condensed into a blurry figure of the sun. He was in a supplicating position when his eyes closed and his head lowered, waiting for the moment he could bond with the great being and gain a miraculous soul-body experience. The translucent figure on his body was still slightly coiled like a typhoon, but its head was already tilted back as it looked up. The crystal monocle it wore flashed dimly. He's searching for the subtle hidden connection. He should have recognized that this is just a secret deed ritual, but he didn't do anything to stop it. Is he trying to find a connection through it? Klein suddenly came to a realization and felt the grey fog and the mysterious space above it simultaneously rippling with power. Yeah, sorry, Milosh. That's twice in a row. That's rough. What the two words don't even look alike. What am I... Oh my god, I'm losing my mind. However, for the time being, Klein couldn't combine these powers with his own spirituality to create a Beyonder effect that could exorcise the evil spirits. Unless there was another corresponding ritual, clearly this was impossible. He couldn't maintain two rituals simultaneously. Klein's eyes quickly swept the area in front of him as his gaze stopped at the sun brooch. Oh, is he just going to try to exorcise him? Fuck it. 363. High level authority. My god, Klein has come so far so quickly, eh? He's already tangling with demigods. This is impressive. I mean, yeah, he's using the power of the Grey Fog, but I mean, hey, you take the things at your disposal, right? Fuck it. Okay, give me 2 seconds. We'll finish this chapter. I just need to run to the restroom really quickly, and then I'll be right back. I'm back. Sorry about that. All right. 363, high level authority. It's Amon time. Oh, good lord. Man, I feel like so much shit has happened today. I was expecting it to be a pretty calm chapter after that whole fucking Beyonder fight. Holy shit. My god. You know what? I've expected the last couple of streams to be quiet, and I'm fucking wrong every time. Perhaps I can... Digesting the Whistler potion? Fuck off. Perhaps I can use it as a bridge. Just as this thought flashed through Klein's mind, his right hand grabbed the sunbird-shaped dark golden brooch. At the same time, he used his spirituality like a whirlpool to attract the pride power from the mysterious space around him, making it surge towards the sun brooch like a tidal wave. Bro, since when is this a thing he could do? He was never able to harness this power like this. What is happening? The quivering above the grey fog became obvious. The little dots of pure light intertwined and swept around Klein, blending with his spirituality. The sunbird-shaped dark brooch began to glow with a dazzling brilliance. He literally introduced a whole new ritual. Yeah, no, I get that, but like, it's just no. It was more of a rhetorical question, Romero. Sorry. It grew, the sunbird-shaped dark golden brooch began to glow with a dazzling brilliance. It grew brighter and denser, and in an instant, drop after drop of translucent golden liquid began to condense. The liquid quickly merged together and formed a human figure that was as tall as Klein. It was a golden figure, a sacred figure. It really does work. The sun holy water that's created from a higher level of power is closer to a god's bestowment. Klein's heart was filled with joy. He turned his gaze back to the crimson star which symbolized the sun. He then looked at the figure that was waiting to bond with the great being. As for the divine figure condensed by the golden sun holy water, it wasn't the result of the sun brooch, but simply a manifestation of Klein's subconscious thoughts. What the fuck is happening here? So, he basically, this is simplifying a lot, but he basically just made a shadow clone that's transparent. Is that what I'm reading? Reaching the step, he had already allowed the golden figure to move forward. Through the illusory crimson star, it merged with the little sun through the secret deed ritual as it dispelled the evil spirit hidden in his body, as well as giving him a certain amount of knowledge and miraculous soul-body experience. However, Klein didn't have much confidence at that very moment. The power of that mysterious space was obviously higher than his spirituality, making him unable to smoothly control the power. As such, the power of the golden figure was mixed, chaotic, and insufficiently coordinated. If he used it as is, the effect was at most 10% of what he expected. As for Amon, who was suspected to be a descendant of the ancient sun god, he was born into a family of blasphemers in the Tudor Empire's fourth epoch. Even if it wasn't his main body, he was able to successfully hide his identity from high-sequence demon hunters and powerful mystical items that protected the existence of the City of Silver. Klein truly didn't have much confidence, with the effect only amounting to 10%. His initial plan was only to give it a try. If it didn't work, then he would temporarily bar the sun and reconnect with him when he found a better solution. Having come this far, Klein naturally wanted the best outcome and strived to succeed in one go. Having disguised himself as the godlike fool, he too had a little pride. He wanted to keep up his reputation. He gave a self-deprecating laugh as he prepared to find a way to increase the effects of the golden figure to dispel the evil entity at the last moment. Username? No, that one's Tudor. I'm calling it Tudor. Fuck off. Of course, I can only waste a few seconds, otherwise the ritual would be over. Klein's eyes swept over the items on the long bronze table, thinking only of the words high level. Due to his spirituality's intuition as a seer, his gaze landed on an item. The card of blasphemy, the Black Emperor card. Of all the items Klein owned, it was the only one that matched the words high level. As for ASIC's copper whistle, Klein clearly remembered that it had been completely suppressed when the Blackthorn Security Company faced off against the spawn of the evil god.
Tutor.
Get fucked. Due to his however, what the Black Emperor card's high level pertains to is the knowledge contained inside. That's not right. After the owner advances to become a high sequence Beyonder, it can produce subtle responses with the Beyonder ingredients that are needed. Furthermore, it also possesses the characteristic of anti-divination and anti-prophecy. In other words, its level isn't low. I don't need to use it to I don't need to use it for a fight. As long as I can use its high level to suppress the power of this mysterious space above the gray fog, and if I can minimize the chaotic and unnatural coordination of the golden figure, it'll be enough. Klein quickly came up with an idea. He reached out his hand towards the Black Emperor card, which had its back facing up. Just then, he noticed a frightening scene through the corner of his eye. Within the shadow of the sun that was formed by the illusory rays of the crimson star, a palm, so shriveled that only the skin and bones remained, was suddenly trying to reach forward. Slowly, but firmly, it grabbed at the boundaries of the crimson star, giving off a feeling as if it was piercing through reality and entering the psyche domain. Amon was attempting to use the connection to rip open the boundary and extend his hand into the gray fog. Dude, if Klein loses the gray fog, he's actually cooked. He doesn't have anything else. Then he just becomes an ordinary Sequence 7 Beyonder and he's fucked. He loses the Tarot Club? Oh god. For the first time, the endless grayish-white fog was in chaos. The flowing from before seemed to have turned into waves as gales formed. Klein's pupil shrank as he no longer hesitated. He picked up the Black Emperor card. As soon as he held this item in his hand, he immediately felt that his spirituality was no longer subdued by the power of the mysterious space. Suddenly, the golden figure became abnormally tall. On its back, it grew a pair of enormous pitch-black wings. There were a total of 12 pairs. Jesus Christ. 12 pairs? On each pair of wings, there was a dark and bright feather engraved with many mysterious symbols. The contrast between gold and black was stark, and the huge figure, driven by Klein, spread its wings to cover the vast dome of the towering palace. Oh my god. He didn't just form an angel, he formed a seraphim. This is crazy. My goat, dude. Without a sound, the sacred yet corrupted figure of light and darkness flashed over, overlapping with the manifestation of the little sun that was formed by the crimson star. The light and shadows intersected and a fierce wind blew in all directions. A palm that was so shriveled that it didn't have any flesh, to the point of only having skin and bones left, shrank backwards uncontrollably, but it also refused to retreat. It was like a man falling from a cliff who had extended his hand to grab a bulge, unwilling to let go regardless of what happens. In the midst of the illusory and chaotic sounds, light and darkness completely erupted. The shriveled hand finally lost its support It plummeted, constantly disintegrating and disappearing as it did. After a few seconds, the gray fog in the mysterious space above it returned to its previous tranquility, as if no one had stepped inside for thousands of years. Klein focused again and saw the blurry figure of the little son was no longer entangled with the twisted and incorporeal entity. Unable to stop himself, he heaved a sigh of relief. He then conjured the contrasting image from before and threw them at the manifested figure of the little son in the crimson ray of light, allowing him to fully comprehend them. So, just to confirm, he basically killed his parasite, so he's taken care of. Amon is taken care of for now. I mean, obviously the real Amon is still untouched, but... In the Berg household in the City of Silver, Derek felt both hands awake and adrift at the same time. Derek felt both awake and adrift at the same time. As if he could see the shadows of ineffable shapes, different colors of light that contained endless knowledge, and a majestic, tall, golden figure looking down upon everything. You can change the music, yes. The figure stood beside Mr. Fool in the thick grey fog, with 12 pairs of huge, dark, mysterious wings on his back. Not only did his body and mind become warm and pure, but he also seemed to understand what was called sunlight. He had even figured out holy water creation, as well as the knowledge to exorcise evil spirits. That's useful as information as fuck in the City of Silver, Jesus. It also contained images he couldn't understand, such as hidden pyramidal mausoleums. Whoa, interesting. In that intoxication soul-body experience, it was as if he had returned to his most carefree childhood, to the land where sun shone in his imagination. And it was only when everything was gone and the simple furnishings of his room came into view that he snapped back to reality. Is this the sacred deed rituals referred to in textbooks? For more than 2,000 years, no one in the City of Silver has succeeded before. No one has been able to come into contact with a mighty existence. At that moment, Derek's low spirits and loneliness lessened. A heartfelt smile beamed on his face. The so-called Fool's experiment was to confirm whether our City of Silver's environment can perform a secret deed ritual. The wondrous feeling of all that knowledge was the payment he gave me. Derek lowered his head and said, "Thank you, Mr. Fool." Right at this moment, the grayish-white fog suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. In the center of the fog was a lofty chair. In it, leisurely seated, was Mr. Fool. Then Derek saw himself covered in the illusory shadow. The figure that wore a classic black robe, a matching pointed hat, and a crystal monocle hung from his face. It coiled around his body like a python. Got it right that time. Let's go, 1 for 3. This Amon wasn't dead. He invaded the detection of the mystical item and the attention of His Excellency, and he became a parasite on my spirit body. Derek's eyes widened as he suddenly saw himself as he was now, no longer entangled by Amon. Did Mr. Fool notice and finish him off? Derek's sunken heart calmed when his cold sweat trickled down his forehead due to the lingering fear. His face, on the other hand, displayed an expression of instinctive reverence. He subconsciously followed the words described in mythology chorus and said, "Praise the mighty Mr. Fool." Somewhere in the deep darkness, a bolt of lightning streaked across the sky, illuminating the surroundings. I think that's the 12th pair, meaning the 12 wings, or 6 pairs, not 24 wings. In fairness, it did say 12 pairs, which in my mind does mean 24 wings. If Amon wanted, he could have entered Seraph Castle. Where am I? Oh, somewhere in the deep darkness, a bolt of lightning streaked across the sky, illuminating the surroundings. This was the plain that was filled with ravines, and the bluish-black, single-eyed giant was wandering subconsciously. His eyes were lifeless, and his face was... Wait, did you time out someone for 86,000 seconds? How long is that? 86,000 seconds. Well, that's okay. That's only like a... No, okay, it was just a day. Okay, that's not that bad. I won't allow him to chat ever. Ever? What did he say? What did he say? Oh, Moon, you got cooked. What did you do? Listen, Ramiro, for all his faults, has never banned someone in my chat, which means you must have done something. Somewhere in the deep darkness, a bolt of lightning. Somewhere in the deep darkness, a bolt of lightning streaked across the sky, illuminating the surroundings. This was a plain that was filled with ravines, and a bluish-black, single-eyed giant was wandering subconsciously. What? A giant? A single-eyed giant? This makes me think of... Oh, okay, so there are still giants. Okay, cool. His eyes were lifeless, and his face was covered with traces of rotting pus. Grayish-white yellow gas permeated from his body and interwoven with the air, forming many clouds. And beneath his feet, in the darkest ravine on the plain, there was a figure standing at the edge, overlooking the land below. With the help of the lightning, a thick and broad, grayish-white building could be vaguely seen at the bottom of the ravine. The figure was dressed in a classic black robe and a pointed cap of the same color. It had curly black hair, black eyes, a broad forehead, and thin cheeks. It looked identical to the phantom Derek Berg had seen. Giants are all single-eyed? Yeah, I realized that as soon as I read it. As soon as I said it, I was like, oh, wait. That's common. Okay. He raised his hand and pinched the crystal monocle. He then turned his head to the left and looked into the distance and said, as expected. He suddenly whispered in the language of ancient Faesak. After pausing for a moment, the man smiled and said the words, "The fool." Before he finished speaking, he had already jumped into the ravine in front of him. At this moment, the lightning subdued for a second, and the darkness completely enveloped the world. Okay, hold on. Once I finish this, okay, we're gonna need to talk. Sorry, hold on. Once I finish this, there's only one paragraph left, so I'll just finish this. After eliminating the fatal threat, Klein returned to the real world, once again feeling the urgent need to advance his sequence. That Amon I eliminated wasn't his main body. If he's really interested in the mysterious space above the gray fog, he will return to the City of Silver. At that time, I wonder if the 2 legendary mystical items and the 3 demon hunters can stop him. For a mere clone to be so bizarre and terrifying, I can only imagine how powerful his main body is. Therefore, I need to conclude the rest of my magician principles as soon as possible through digestion and advance. Better grasp the mysterious space above the grey fog. Perhaps the city of Silver's Shepherd will be used. Shepherd Elder will be used, if she really is corrupted by the true creator. Klein opened the bathroom door and went down the first door while in deep thought. Fuck. Okay. Okay. So just to confirm, what I read in that last chapter about the what I read about that okay, what I read makes me think of this, okay? So there was and then important detail, ancient Faceac is only known in the outside world. City of Silver people only speak Jotun. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. But then the second thing is, that's good. Okay. So what I read was that there was a plane where there was a giant. Okay? Now, instinctively, Jotun is the language of giants. So it's interesting that this person is up here. Okay? And then he said in a small ravine below was Amon. And then Amon was looking down at the city of Silver. And then he said, "Oh, Mr. Fool," and then he jumped down. Is that what I read? Is that right? So giants. Okay, so everyone here is regular in the city of Silver are just peeps. Wait, not the city? Didn't he say jump down towards the city of Silver? Is that not what it said? Hold on. Oh, it's not the city of Silver? Oh, sorry. Okay. Oh, interesting. Before you finish speaking, he's okay. Okay, never mind. Okay, never mind. So this is not. Okay, so never mind. So not the city of Silver. Okay, this is good. See? This is why I needed to talk it through with you guys, because I'm sure I was gonna fuck this up. Okay, it's really early for me, which means my reading comprehension isn't where it usually is. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so he and then he jumped down somewhere. So what this is probably telling me is that it's this has got to be something similar to like if any of you have seen One Piece, like the Skypiea arc, where there's a city in the sky where the giants live, and Amon is somehow part of them. Now, how did the giants get here? Because I assume the giants in the past. But then where the fuck did he jump down? I'm so curious. Ancient Faceac is to the north. I don't know. Dude, I'm not username. Let me be clear. I'm not making up theories right now. I'm literally just trying to get clarification on what I've read, okay? Hold on. I'm literally just trying to get clarification. He was near a ravine. Amon jumped down on me. It was not high above. It was just a place far away. Okay, dope. Okay, never mind. Okay, ancient Faceac is to the northern continent. Basically what Latin is to the Romance languages. I think it was mentioned. Ah, interesting. Okay, dope. Okay, so So, you know what? Okay, so fuck. Again, motherfucker, I'm not cooking. I am getting clarification that hardly counts as cooking. Okay, so in that case, he was very far away into the ravine, and he just jumped into the ravine. Okay, dope. No worries. Okay, so at that point, okay, so the main takeaway from this thing is, one, Amon now knows of the gray fog. And from how interested he was in it right away, it seems I'm not okay. Okay. Username. Just because I open paint doesn't mean I'm cooking, okay? He now knows of the gray fog. And given how interested he was right away, it seems like Amon might have even been aware of this place right away. Not necessarily, doesn't have to be the case. It just felt like the fact that he immediately saw Derek go there and then went, what the fuck? I gotta get access to that. Now, that could just be he felt for the first time like something that limited his access and he could no longer tell what happened to Derek. It could just be that, and he went like, okay, something is able to interfere with my power, and I'm a demigod. So that either means he just went out of like, oh, this is a really powerful thing, I'd like to have it. But I feel like then he would have been a little bit more cautious. He immediately went to, holy shit. I gotta jump aboard Derek, and then I'm getting access to the gray fog. Okay. So Amon might already know of the gray fog. Second, we learned that giants still exist, even if there's like only a handful of them or something. Giants exist. Interesting. That's good. Yes, that's all I have, Dr. Z. Again, I'm thoroughly uncreative, but I have good logical skills. I like to think a good logical ability. Can I have the gray fog? Yes, exactly. Giants still exist, and now Amon now knows of the Fool. And the way he jumped down is some major antagonist bullshit, okay? Which means I'm coming after you, motherfucker, is what that means. Artwork channel. Yes, Milosh. Username. Wait, you joined the Discord again? How long are you going to be staying for this time? Only person who knows of the Fool outside the Tarot Club? Yeah, I think so. Fuck off. Why are you like this? Only came in to say spoilers? Oh, you sent more before this? Oh, shit. Yes, you did. Holy fuck. How much did you guys send? Okay. This is where the cutoff is. Okay. Audrey. Oh, this dragon art is so cool. I love this. This is so good. Whistling, stop. No, Yorick, you can't do this to me. This is really good. Dude, look at that. Yeah, exactly. Look at that fucking floor. That looks amazing. A literal Audrey Hall. That's really good too. Holy crap. Dude. Who's this creator? My god, they're so good. Aurea? Aurea. I'm gonna see if I can find them. I can't find it. I don't know. Fuck it. But that's a really capable artist, dude. This actually, yes, exactly. That almost looks like a well-painted. Exactly. It looks like a well-painted model. This is like, look at the hair. It's so well. Like all this is so well done. Holy shit. Oh, this is so. Oh my god, this is so good. I generally prefer stuff of this type of style and stuff, like more. I almost want to say abstract, but I don't even know what I'd call it. Like this is, oh shit, sorry. This is more hyper realistic. Like this one in particular is just absolutely beautiful. I don't have any fucking notes on this. She has a accent on the letter. Oh, maybe. Yeah, like this sort of like classical style sort of stuff is like it. Like this one's beautiful, but it's not really my, like this is way more my style. I don't mean like the dress or whatever. I mean like the background, like all this looks so beautiful. Holy crap, dude. You guys weren't kidding. This community has some unbelievably talented artists and like just people in general. Jesus. Look at that. Look at the little cupcakes or quiches or whatever the fuck those are. And the art. Oh my lord. This is so well done. Manuscript. Please do not use repeat violation. Yeah. This is so good. Like even look at the detail on the sofa, on the trimmings, on everything. 4s, of course. Wait, is this 4s? But then why is Susie here? I'm so confused. What is happening? We've seen this one. Wait, that's Audrey? Why is her hair fucking orange? That is not blonde hair. Bullshit. Audrey for Gooners type art. Yeah, exactly. We've seen this one before. This is really good. Green eyes. That's true. Now this is For's art. Okay. Blonde hair is weird with lighting. Yeah, makes it orange. Oh, that reminds me. Anyone, if you're interested, consider joining our Discord if you're not already in. Link is in the description. There's a lot of art. There's a lot of art. And then I discuss a lot of stuff. Not just Lord of the Mysteries. A lot of that, but a lot of other stuff too. Wait, can you even see the Amon fan art yet? I mean, he's been described. As long as it's not anything spoilery or anything, or like gives me any details about his powers or some shit. I don't know. Yes, not you, username. You can just come and go as you please. You're like a, we'll call it a diplomatic visitor. Let's say. This is really cute, but I feel like I've seen this before too. This is really cute though. she looks a little chubby, like very cute. As long as this pathway isn't revealed. Okay. Eridus, the mirror they used at the Rose School of Thought. Very cool. We forgot to send art of it. It's a fucking mirror, dude. I don't even know why there is art of this. I'm still crashing out. What, did I fuck something up, Romero, or what? Username is like he's a untitled mod. He's like Batman, you know? Not technically on the police payroll, but he does the job basically. That's really cute too. Again, as always, I love chibi art, so I will always praise all this stuff forever. It's like, this is so cute. Yeah, vigilante, exactly. This looks like, I don't know, the cuteness factor of chibi art to me is amazing. I love this stuff. It's so cute. I think there may have been a dog here. I don't want to make assumptions, but I think there may have been a dog here. If my hair was a does Amon have black hair or brown? I can't remember. Oh, black. There's art of everything. Don't be surprised. Yeah. If my hair was a little bit lighter, I feel like I could have done a good Amon what do you call it? Cosplay, but my hair is way too thick to try, because it'll never be that wavy ever. Like, yeah. I guess technically Azek would be the easiest. I think he has bronze skin. You just need a monocle. Well, yeah, but again, my hair just would never, like, his hair is like kind of is wavy, light, sort of spread. Like, my hair would just never do that. My hair's too thick to try to maintain that. I mean, I guess I could get a wig, but then at that point I could just get a wig of any color. Buy a long wig for Azek and you'll fit right in. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, exactly. Azek would definitely be the oh, this is really good. Man, I don't normally like the official art, but this one's really good. Yeah, like a long wig for Azek. Yeah, I feel like Azek would definitely be the easiest. Whenever my goat Azek is coming back, we'll do a Azek cosplay or something. Oh wait, doesn't he wear like brown suits? I don't have a brown suit. Fuck, I have a black one for Amon, but I don't have a brown suit. What is this? 1875? You have a beard? Try Alger instead. Oh, that's actually a good point. Alger could probably work. Plus, I'm kind of unbelievably miserable. You just need to shave for Azek. Ugh, I don't like being clean shaven anymore. I mean, I don't necessarily. I'm opposed to it. It just. I can. This one's really cute. What the actual fuck is this thing? Smug looking bastard. Easy's gonna cosplay as Audrey. You can be Alger. Both members of the OG club. Wait, Easy's gonna cosplay as Audrey? How did you guys convince him? Derek, Jesus Christ, that is a massive axe. Motherfucker's like Escanor over here, dude. Oh my god, he's actually he just needs a fucking a mustache, and then he's actually Escanor now. What the fuck? I mean, he needs to be more buffed, yes, but he's still a kid. You know what? It's fine. Oh, you guys can't see it. Oh my god. He just needs to get a little more buffed, and then he's actually Escanor. Holy shit. How did did I see this before? I don't know. It seems so obvious. Holy shit, that's a big axe. A lot of muscles, yeah. Wait, that was 1,000 Wait, how long have you guys been watching him? Wait, how long has he been streaming Lord of the Mysteries? Sub 1,000, jeez. Derek? The worm? There's Heart of the Worm! Oh my god. Roselle Demoness Gustav. Roselle? Oh my god. No muscles needed, absolutely. His official art. This makes him look way too dignified. But with that mustache, we know what you're up to. We know what you're up to, you little shit. This is so cute. Wait. What do you mean you don't want to sleep with me? What is happening? I'm the Emperor. Have I mentioned this? It's necessary to include the worm. For what reason? Why is this necessary? Colin? My lord. Oh my god, this is actually Geralt. This is just Geralt. What? Oh my god, can I get a white wig and then do Colin instead? Holy shit. I mean, we can do Alger, but I can also do Colin. Holy shit. He looks dope as fuck. Like, this is a 1-to-1. This is the same fella. This isn't inspiration. It's the same. What the fuck? Why was it having a stroke? This is the same fella. Oh my. Why is my computer having a stroke? Okay. You guys get the point. Holy shit. My god. Yeah, this is just Geralt. Based as fuck. Colin Iliad. Amon cosplay is too easy. Scrap that. Well, I can do Amon. It's just I'm gonna have to really fuck with my hair to try to get that worked out. Just get a monocle and then wear my black suit. We're chilling. And then maybe get like one of those, whatever the fucking golden chain is, a pocket watch and stuff. And I think we're pretty good. Literally, Geralt from The Witcher. Someone already said this. All right, never mind. Oh, look at him. Pointy hat? Yes. I will get a Harry Potter hat. Colin is inspired from Geralt? Ah, okay. That is a giant sword. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. This man's swing. Oh, yes. You see, I have cursed your entire bloodline because you sold me rotten tomatoes yesterday. A curse on both your households. Look at this fucking fella. This is so cute. I mean, I can try to find a dark blue wig. We can sort this out, you know. This is so cute. These are so cute. I think we've seen these before. Maybe have we seen these before? I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering. This is just really well done. The clothes, everything. Oh my god. Oh, that's so good. Man, these cosplays are so well done. Holy, oh my god. This is so good. Excuse me? This is so good. I know, Susie's even got the glasses. I sponsor all the good ones. God, those eyes are like so green. Like they're like, I'm trying to think of like not just like emerald green. They're like a grass field on the like sunniest day green. Like these are so green. Like that green pendant feels like it's not green enough compared to those eyes. That's crazy. Obviously those are contact lenses, I understand, but I'm doting. Lighting editing, they're pro. Radioactive green, yes, thank you. Better still. I just can't help looking at the dog. It's so cute. Yeah, Susie even has the pouch. The glasses and the pouch. Oh my god. She has a little parasol. Very good. Oh, these are so well done. Justice. Ah. Oh, look at that. Scales of Justice and the sword. Very well done. I'm going to read the artwork channel and download all of them. Hey, that's what they're here for, man. Design preview? What are these? Sponsored by username. These are so cute. Susie cosplay best? Absolutely. We even got the cat. We've got everything, man. These are so good. I would think so. I think that's Joe. Oh, these are the worms. I see. My God, that is so well done. Oh. Someone deleted my art. Oh, worm rings. So I sent, but it got deleted. Yeah, it's fine. We don't need gender bend art here. It's fine. Okay. Yeah, I think okay. Thank you guys. I think we'll leave it there. Thank you for a fantastic stream. And if you're in the Discord, let me know. Does this time work better for you guys? Because again, I don't mind streaming at this time. Like I'm not opposed to it. So let me know if this timing works better for you guys, and then we can. I mean, obviously, I know it doesn't work well for Devil or most of the NA peeps, but yeah, let me know. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you have a great rest of your day or night. Enjoy your weekend, because it is for almost all of you. And that's it. Thank you so much. fuck did it go? I have so many tabs open. Thank you.